We are connected. Today is June 8th, 2026, 6:13 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I am Dan. This is the Ball Busters broadcast. If you look above me, you'll see MEM10, MEM10 for 10% off. SemperFryLLC.com, SemperFry LLC.com. That is where you'll find awesome hot sauce. That's the name. And if you are over on, let's just grab that one. Do a refresh on this guy. I don't know why that's not. There we go. Why that's not. And okay, that's also weird. Get rid of that. Oh, there we go. Stop it. Okay, so if you're on here, what's it doing? You'll see just beneath this the website and the Twitter for SemperFryLLC.com. And right there it says MEM10 for 10% off. It's good until the 10th, so you have today and 2 more days. And right here, you scroll down. The bundle packs get free shipping, so it doesn't apply to those. And so same deal with the gallons. Starting here and going down. And they come in a 6 and a 12 ounce size. So if you click on any of these pictures, let's do the Venom. You'll see button for the 6 ounce, button for the 12 ounce. Don't get the 2 ounce. I ran out of caps. They gave me more bottoms than tops. I don't know why they did that. It's like whenever I talk to them, they're like, "Oh well, why didn't you count them?" I'm like, "You want me to sit at the deck, the loading dock, and count something you should have counted? You want me to wait, make everybody else wait while I count hundreds and hundreds of caps? That's what you're telling me to do, or you can just understand that you made a mistake. You didn't, because they do it by weight. They don't even count them." Anyway, so there you go. That is the Venom. You don't see anything. Yeah, you do. You see what I'm saying. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this for now. There you go. And so it goes. And then there's a videos tab, which they covered half of, which is, another brilliant way that they set this up. That's the Sgt. Pepper that guy tried. And then there's Johnny Scoville here from Chase the Heat. And there it goes. All right. There you go. All right, let's get into it. First, let's read this. Basically, this is kind of a rewriting of yesterday's. Will we all rise as one, God's soldiers as we were intended to be? Preserve, guide, and protect life in this realm from the evil that is coming for us and them. Guardians, be ready. And I was looking at a bunch of things here. Let's get rid of this crap. And so, Philippines, the other day, June 7th, had a 7.8 on the Richter scale earthquake. But look at it. June 8th, they had a 5.5, June 8th, June 8th, June 7th, all the way down. Seems like it's pretty active there, like on a daily basis since the 5th, and probably even longer. Oh, is there another one? No. Massive earthquake shakes Philippines. The people were evacuated, but there's complete chaos and destruction in the Philippines after an 8.2. What did we just see? 7.8? So there's another one? Or is this just a tsunami alert on? Well, that's wonderful. Let's see what this is. Come on. I guess.
And these are the visuals of the monster quake
Are
that
there supposed to just be pauses like that?
has struck Philippines, and the quake measuring 8.2 has now
Look at
rocked
that.
Philippines, and U.S. tsunami warning
What the
system,
hell kind of a video is
tsunami
this?
threat has been issued after the earthquake of magnitude 8.2, which struck Mindanao in Philippines. And these are the visuals. Shopping mall has
These are
been
the visuals, but it's not really very visual, is it? Let's see if there's a better picture of it. That's a 7.8. Come on, I want to just see people all standing around. What the hell kind of shit is that? Well, they don't know how to make videos. All right. Oregon Peace Act. Well, everything is always named in the inversion. This is an assault on the people, and this is wickedly evil. This is another way to destroy the Second Amendment, which isn't required to have permission, natural order. This is just common sense that you are allowed to do what it takes to defend yourself, protect your family. It doesn't require an amendment in the first place. No one should be able to tell you, and you shouldn't listen, that you can't do so, however way you see fit. Period. That's an inborn law of nature, God-given right. Otherwise, what do you become? Easy target, a victim. Oregon Peace Act would criminalize hunting, fishing, and farming. In Oregon. Parts of Oregon, like around Astoria and the coastline, they are considered a rainforest area, not a tropical, but a rainforest area, and it's based on the amount of rainfall per year. Ferns grow there. Ferns require lots and lots of water. Moss grows on practically all the trees. That requires lots and lots of water and moisture. Lots of mushrooms, too. So this is a direct assault on the people. This is an act of war and an attempt to starve people, all rolled into one. This is enough. It should be enough to go Albanian on these people and more. Oregon voters may soon... Whoa. No. First of all, this never is what decides anything. It's a group of people, corporate executives masked as representatives, who make decisions against the best interest of the people. Oh, look, Lynn D. Rothschild, not Linda, is back in the news again. This is that. She was in my book. I wrote about him. Her and the Pope, at that time, was Francis. They're all up in the BlackRock bullshit. Super Zionist shit heads. Which would tell you everything about that you need to know about the church and its foundation. Inclusive capitalism and Epstein accountability. Bullshit. Oh, maybe for her, not because she's calling for it. Anyway, let's go back to this. Oregon voters may soon decide whether the state will effectively criminalize many ordinary uses of animals, including hunting, fishing, trapping, livestock production, animal husbandry, and some forms of research. Yeah, they already destroyed all the bees, right? They killed them all, burned them all. They destroyed the research on the honeybees while they're actually having a mass die-off, deliberate, most certainly. Why? Because they pollinate. Why? Because that fucked up the food supply. Initiative Petition 28, also known as the People for the Elimination of Animal Cruelty Exemptions. This is, see how they wrap it up in some sort of misguided virtue all the time? This is a direct assault on the people. The things that people have been doing for thousands of years versus Trump going into, utilizing the tool of BLM and logging the fuck out of every forest and then dumping a bunch of poison on the remains. But we're really, really worried about the animals. You're going to destroy entire ecosystems, Trump. But people for the elimination of animal cruelty exemptions, right? You're destroying their natural habitat at the same time, which will cause starvation and death of the animals. But a bunch of freaking liberal idiots that you're manipulating, who are scared of guns anyway. Livestock production. Grazing rights. They're stealing grazing rights from people. They're telling people that man-made ponds are, in direct assault of a wetland. It's absolutely not grazing ponds. You know what I mean? Like ponds for the animals, so drinking water. Let's see. The Peace Act is being promoted as an animal protection measure, but its practical effect would be a sweeping assault on rural life. Right. Because they're Bolsheviks. And they don't want you to be able to live outside of that. Remember, everybody, well, I'll just live off the grid and, all you dumb people in the city, ha, 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 ha. They're going after you first. And they're utilizing the stupid people who live in unnatural conditions, who have no idea what the hell is going on and have complete detachment from the land. They're utilizing their worldview against you. Is being promoted. Okay, I would say assault on rural life, food production, property rights. Listen to this. And the responsible stewardship of God's creation. Exactly. This is an assault. This is an act of war. So too are some of the other things we're going to look over, like the live drills that they're doing in LA and Long Beach. Intimidation, but what are they practicing for? Why are they doing it here? Why aren't they doing it on base? Why are they doing it in Pasadena? Live drills. Real, canister bombs and shit like that. The proposal seeks to amend Oregon's animal cruelty statutes, which shouldn't exist unless they're actually applied to the right thing. Not you make something because it sounds right, because nobody would think that you would use it this way, but then they use it that way, and that was the whole purpose by the diabolical-minded people in the first place, was to use the legalese that they manipulate against farmers, against people who are independent from their food supply, which is constantly poisoned and completely depleted of the nutrients that you need. I'm so upset about this. The proposal seeks to amend Oregon's animal cruelty statutes by removing many of the exemptions that can currently protect lawful activities such as hunting, fishing, trapping, livestock slaughter, accepted animal husbandry practices, scientific research, wildlife management, rodeos, and pest control. Oh, and pest control? Who the they got some J money, dirty, evil, diabolical, child-killing money being pumped into these whack job activists. This goes well beyond spray painting somebody's fur coat. This is fucking evil. Under current Oregon law, and by the way, what would that do to a rich person anyway? They would just buy another fur coat, making the fur trade even more lucrative. Anyway, Under current Oregon law, those activities are generally not treated as criminal animal abuse because they serve legitimate purposes in agriculture, food production, conservation, and human life. Yeah, called common sense. IP28 would eliminate common sense, would substantially narrow those protections, leaving only limited exceptions for veterinary care. Oh, veterinary care is not considered animal cruelty and self-defense against immediate harm. Oh, okay. So now the bear didn't have a knife and you had a knife, so that was that was overkill. So you're going to jail. You know what I mean? Like when people like, oh, he came at you with a knife, you shot him, you're going to jail. As of late May, IP28 supporters had submitted, who the hell are those people? They should be doxxed immediately. And I want to know who they're funded by. And they should be tarred and feathered and put into a pillory and left there. There's too much of this going on all at once. If it's not obvious to everyone already, they are trying to starve us to death. They are trying to intimidate us, and they're going to start doing real hot war against us soon. All under the auspices and bullshit masks of domestic terrorists, anti-shimmers, and everything else. You can't speak against the government's plans, the corporate government, corporate USA, or any of their other corporations that are just more sections and divisions of the same corporation. That's all one corporation. Mega corporations, tech bros, these are all tools of the diabolical, demonic, child-killing cult of banking. And you know what I'm talking about when I say that. I really hope that people wake up and see what's going on. I really hope there's a response. Because if there isn't, what happened in Russia to the Russians in the Bolshevik Revolution will pale in comparison to what happens here. And the death count will be triple, if not more. 60 million, triple or quadruple that. Just right here in America. That's if we're lucky. This is exactly what they said was going to happen. This is what the Codex Alimentarius, the trade union in action, does. They're going to, all poisons that are known poisons that have been banned in other countries for a long time, chemicals that were even used during warfare that were then banned, are now being used on your food. Meanwhile, nutrients are never discussed because that makes you healthy. You can die of starvation simply by not having your nutrients. You'll get ill. You'll get very ill and die. But add poisons, add chemicals, add GMO to all that, and whatever mystery meat that they're serving, whatever it's labeled, that remember, they don't have to follow any rules. The rules are for you. They only apply the rules to smaller businesses to make it nearly impossible for them to make any money doing what they do, so that they fold up and then they grab the market share from them. They don't want anything. They don't want alternatives. There's supposed to be no alternatives when they're done to them. Complete and total utter dependency. This is exactly what they had 5,000 years ago when we talked about the British Edda. That was prior to the Sumerian first quote unquote civilization. It was a lead up to it. Our Gothic Aryan ancestors came across the Chaldee Semites, Ashkenazi, whatever you want to call it, in the Turkish Ashkenazi in Karshemish, which is a portion of Turkey. And they were brutalizing and starving the population there. They were so scared of this cult of sorcery and witchcraft and pharmakia, these terrorists that were also stealing their food and their children and sacrificing them and doing all kinds of weird shit with them, that they hid in tunnels and caves and underground. And we saw how they were brutalizing the people. And at first, we just kind of pushed them off and protected the people. And then they kept on attacking. And finally, they were the three main sorcerers, El, or Elu, Balder, aka Loki. Yeah, that's where that comes from. And Woden, not Odin. Odin is another name for Thor. Woden, a warlock, a child killer, who was always talking about how clever he was in his disguises. Who else does that? Who is a crypto everything? They got put down. They got eliminated. And those who could be rehabilitated were welcome into the kingdom that was established by our ancestors. What did we introduce? Why did they hate us so much? We introduced agriculture, independence. We venerated the sun. They try to blot out the sun. Sun also helps you grow food. There's a connection here. We introduced monogamy, marriage, a family life, baptism, and the concept of one single benevolent creator. You probably know it as monotheism. Regardless of whatever pagan bullshit they want to tell you, because they misunderstand or deliberately misunderstand veneration of heroes of the past that then get deified over time and say, oh, you have multiple gods, you're a polytheist, you're a pagan, and then they mix other people and their practices after there's corruption and those very people involved in that culture that are changing it to include animal and child sacrifice again. Then they blame that all on, oh, that's all pagan. They're the ones conducting it, but the Christians, everybody likes to call everybody a pagan. Like, that's a very odd thing, considering that all of the good elements that make up their religions, their Abrahamic religions, came from our people. They weren't original to them. But they hated us because they controlled people by their food, just like they did in the Holodomor. They don't like you, they're gonna steal every morsel and then they let that shit rot. They didn't even do the trade that they were going to with other countries. A lot of it just rotted while people themselves rotted. Because the objective here was to starve the population. It's very painful. It's very horrific. It's very tragic. There's a lot of suffering involved. And the Talmud talks about proxy murder being A-okay and favored by their God. Their God is not our God. They are not created by the same thing. I don't know what the hell they are. I don't care, personally. But we need to stop considering that as being the human condition, because every time they talk about the human condition being flawed, they're talking about their element and their influence on our people, the rest of mankind. And they call it, the human flaw, the human condition. It's their condition. They just, because of their influence, it's like cancer, it spreads. Over time, their influence and their impression on people rubs off. They are the bad element. And here we go again. Right back into that same old system, just with more technology to enforce it. More technology that they can use to make sure they get every last human being. They're pushing people off the land. Where do you think they're going to go? You honestly think that they were just going to hope that everybody decided to rush into a smart city, a 15-minute city? How about this? Do you honestly think there's enough room for everybody? They say they're already automating all your jobs. What do they need you for? This is a corporation. It's not a country. It's not leadership. It's not guardians that are there to protect the people. They're actively focusing inward to destroy the people. They see you as the enemy. The Emergency Banking Act of 1933 declared us all enemies of the state. That was their excuse for, through their legalese, taking all the gold at that time. Nothing changed in that status. They stripped us so many times of our rights on paper by making us a commodity, by making us a piece of paper as well. But once they incorporated, and every other municipality incorporated, I know they say there's an unincorporated town here and there. That doesn't make any difference. They're not exempt from this evil. The only thing that makes you exempt of the evil is your willingness to fight it. And we've let it go so long, and we've been robbed so badly as they've built an incredible army, technology, arsenal to use against us. First, they use us. As long as things are dying, they're good, right? Poison us, vaccinate us, use a medical system that constantly poisons us and destroys us, and then send us off to wars that extend their power and destroy mankind's hopes of ever getting on top of this, utilizing us in the greatest dark mockery ever to go against and slaughter people who should have been our natural allies against this element. And when all the damage is done, all the territory claimed, and either by debt and IMF loans after rebuilding what we've destroyed, or simply by defaulting these governments so that they hand over their natural resources, their raw material, their raw, natural, their natural minerals, oil, you get it, right? Whatever else is in their ground, the rights over to them, well, then they effectively not just control that, but they control that territory through a clever, deceitful spell of debt. And the only way they were ever to accomplish this on the strong, our ancestors, was by implementing this fraud concept of fiat money in the first place. The only way you can overcome somebody who's more innovative, more creative, harder working, more productive, smarter everywhere it counts, has empathy, knows how to treat other people, and has the winningness of having God on their side. The only way you can beat that is through deception, because they are the inferior. They use a clever scheme to take the meek shall inherit the earth. That's what that means. That's a very, very deceptive inversion of what that is intended to mean. Have you ever seen any of these people, the corporate heads, the CEOs, the BlackRock assholes, everybody that's in tech? They're sodomites, they're scrawny, they're pathetic, they're weak. If you look at any of these Curious Joel people, they are all the misfits. They are the meek. They don't work and they make money off of your hard work. They are vampires. They are parasites. They are economic parasites. They are energy parasites. And they're a giant fucking mosquito sucking the last drop of blood out of this country before they starve us all to death. The data centers are such a horrific thing and it's such a fraud. Who's going to be using it besides them when there's no one left? All that compute, all that territory isn't just for data centers, isn't just in the data center areas, isn't just for servers and coolers. It's going to be multi-use. It's going to be militarized. It's going to be maybe where they manufacture more deadly robotics and drones to keep us whomever is allowed to live in a constant fear of their lives, suppression. Do you see what they do in Gaza? They just take pot shots out of people at random. Walking across the street, they'll shoot the mother in the head and watch the child cry, and then they'll shoot the kid. And sometimes vice versa. They look for pregnant women, they blow their heads off, or they shoot them in the stomach. On the West Bank, 10 years ago, I was watching a video from, I can't remember the name of the woman, and they do these crippling shots where they shoot the men in the crotch, blowing their dicks off, blowing their balls off. If they don't bleed to death, well, they're not going to have children. This is who's coming here. This is who's already merged with us. And this element has been here because this element that is here, this corporatocracy, is responsible for the creation of the 51st state of America called Israel. The only one that matters to them. The baby of the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve. I'm sorry to have to talk about this all the time, but we seriously are under such great danger right now. Just because you see the sun shining and the birds chirping right now doesn't mean that that's going to stay like that forever. You have to be up close to it to actually finally realize it. If it has to be happening to you or in front of you for it finally to sink in, I'm sorry, but it will be too late by then. It will be too late by then. Did you see the response simply for taking the most, pristine, beautiful island, Albanian island? Did you see what they did? Do you know how many people have been saying to other influencers, when is America, everybody's eyes are on America, like basically saying, lead by example. We're waiting to see what you guys do to muster up their courage. And most of these places are already disarmed. Unless you're a Sikh, then you can go around stabbing people with an 8-inch knife because it's a ceremonial Sikh. Okay, I have a ceremonial, too. It's part of my religion. The religion of stay the fuck away from me. I don't know. Wait, is that what we have to do? We have to get exemptions for our religion? Cool. We can play the fucking bullshit game with them. Let's form a religion. And that is our religious element. That's our religious device. And the more you have, the more religious you are. Okay? There. Done. Let's put it to paper. Let's get it a nonprofit. Let's make it official, and let's all join. I don't understand how this is still happening, and everybody's still trying to go about their days. If you think that this isn't an attempt to starve you to death, and also to eliminate joy in life, you can't take your son fishing. You can't take your daughter fishing. Grandpa can't take the kids out camping because it's a wrong use of the land. You're going to be swarmed by hovering little pieces of shit toys with cameras on them should you decide to walk towards the water or towards a tree. Or remember they used to use the excuse of protecting habitats? You can't say that and then go and log protected lands with endangered animals in it, or otherwise, just animals in period, and take away, like, where's the outcry for that? Why are these, see, this is how you know everything's fake, because the people who should have spoke up against that are silent. Instead, they're trying to take away your rights to the land. Eminent domain is just one aspect of it. Property rights? Remember, property can't own property, and they've already classified us as property. You know what else property can't have? It can't have rights. So they've just been playing the game with us because we've been too stupid to ask too many questions. When we became incorporated, and when we started having birth certificates, and certificates of live birth, we ceased being human in their eyes. SGKV Trust of 1666 also makes us all last at sea, blah, 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 blah. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's Admiralty law. Corporate law is commerce law, is Admiralty law. They all cross over like that. We are in commerce law. We don't have common law. That is the only thing that's valid. Cause no harm. Everything that they do is outside of that, which makes it the color of law, the impression, the fraud. It's only legitimate because we consent to it without our knowledge. We grew up in this hell, and hell we shall have until we recognize it as such. And they're getting more and more aggressive because it's the end of the story. There isn't going to be any other, revitalizations, no renaissance, no rebounding of mankind if something isn't done before this all takes place. It's like they almost make it cartoonish in a way with the pushback, because they want you to see all this stuff. If they didn't want you to see what they were doing in Gaza, they wouldn't have let it be seen on their social media, because they own it all. They wanted people rightfully upset, because then they could say that now you're anti-Semitic for being upset, because they can do no wrong and you just have to deal with what they're saying. And if they tell you a lie about it's okay to kill children and unarmed people and torture them and hang them and wear freaking gold in the Knesset, you can wear a gold noose, and that's not insane. That's not evil. These people did nothing except live in a place you invaded. You know what I'm talking about. And then they were subjected to 80 years worth of hell. All because our country, which was already controlled by the same entity, made sure it happened. Organized crime is the same thing as a corporation. The way that they run them. A mega corporation is the most unnatural thing in the world because of the concept of competition. You don't have competition if you just have different names for companies, and they're all controlled by the same umbrella corp. They call them the financial advisors or the asset management, whatever. BlackRock. That's just an extension of the Bank of England, City of London, Federal Reserve. It's that entity at its source, the printers of the spell, the printers of the fiat, the printers of the money. The only way that they could steal away real property from you is through a game worse than Follow the Queen. We'll give you this shit, and the only reason why it has any value to it is because people will only accept it for your rent, for your mortgage, for food. But it has no value. But if you don't have it this month, we're taking everything you've got. And when you're beaten down and you're just trying to make ends meet, what better time to pull some more shit, because you will be too distracted trying to put put your fingers and toes in every hole in your boat that you don't have time. You don't have time. Oh, gas is $99 a gallon now. It's like this. Everything that they need to have happen is happening all at the same time. It's deliberate to overwhelm you, but it's still happening. Just having that knowledge doesn't save you from it. You're living through it regardless. And regardless, I don't know if what's happening in Iran is 100% organic. I know if that here's two things that could happen. They would know how Iran would respond to what they've done, and therefore they did it to have the excuse to say there's going to be oil running out soon. or they're playing a game with Iran, and Iran's already infiltrated. Because I know that it's always a difference, right? There's the people of America, there's the people of Iran, there's the people of this country or that country, and then there's the representatives of it, the people who speak on behalf of everybody, and we get a bad impression of what everything is because those are the people who do not represent the people representing the people. And I'm sure it's heavily infiltrated, so I don't know how much of that is real, but the result is the same if they know how to manipulate people. Like if we do this to them, this is going to be their response, and that helps us because we're trying to, sell the idea that this is going to be a scarcity item. We have plenty here, but we need that to sell to other people. Otherwise, the fiat bullshit doesn't work. The real commodity for the money is actually us, because that's what we're the stock and trade that they're utilizing. We're the paper. And if AI does what it's supposed to do and make our human energy, aside from, their rituals that they need to energize with it, if they don't need us to build the world for them anymore and work the slave labor for them anymore, then that paper is going to be kind of worthless and they'll liquidate. Their corporations have to run efficiently, don't they? AI takes place. People don't have anything to do. People no longer needed. People eliminated. It's not what are you going to do with all your free time now when you have your universal basic income. Who the hell wants that? Where's the joy in life there? It's one thing to just get away from a rigged game where you're always losing. And then a whole other thing to be deprived of anything that gives you purpose and meaning. The only thing that's going to give you purpose right now, that's going to make a difference, is to stand together. That is our purpose. We're the guardians, we're the protectors. We are the stewards of this land, of this world, of nature, of God's creation. And if we don't, well, I'm sorry, but I don't think if I was God, I would think that we were worthy of anything better if we couldn't even handle our own affairs here. What makes us think that we deserve something better than this if we can't even fix this place? If we hand it over so easily because everybody's so scared. Our purpose here in life is to do just this very thing. That is our purpose. Be like, what's the meaning of life? How is that a hard thing to figure out? You know why it's hard to figure out? Because they took your meaning of life and they reduced it down to one guy. And in their story, which is very dark and very cynical, they took him and they pinned him to two pieces of wood, and then chuckle about a carpenter meeting his demise being nailed to pieces of wood. And then they told you that's the only one. And if you ever consider yourself able to do what he did, then you're a heretic. Even though whatever words that were real that survived of his, which by the way, I guarantee you wasn't, I'm from the house of David. That's Jew shit. If he, and I'm going to say this because there is an if here. If he, in fact, was a person, and lots of the elements that we think are, we call it attributed to him, have been manipulated. The kingdom of heaven is within. Greater things than I shall you do. And in all the, what they call the Apocrypha, or they say are Gnostic, which is a vast umbrella term that includes people who were just plain early Christians, which is what they were, and they group the Ophites and other freaking whack job, orgiastic, pharmakia, conjuring, and sorcery fucking weirdos in with that, and they say, "Ooh, Gnostic, ew." you see what they do, right? Like everybody's guilty by association because he gave it all one label. This is the spell casting. So anything that those people did, you're just so sure that the King James version's this is, oh my God, that is from God himself. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's from Rosicrucians. And we are all here for the same purpose that guy was, who was trying to remind us of our purpose, but also letting us know what these other things were, and they are not from. He said it himself, from your father, the devil, a murderer from the beginning. The minions of whatever you want to call it, Demiurge, Satan, Saturn. That is what is operating through these entities. And we are like he. Should we act, those of us who have empathy, not all humans are created equal. There's Hylics, we know that, aka NPCs. And then there's people who are corrupted and people who probably lost their connection with God through their deviant acts, which were probably encouraged by those entities. Well, it has to be, actually, because their media is there. So regardless if it was a direct influence or, encouragement, it is anyway, because it's the impression that's being given off through the way that they construct all that you're saturated with around you to believe that this is, this is what life is, this is what's available, this is what, the pleasures of this and all that. You have a right to do this, you have the right to kill your baby, you have the right to gamble, you have a right to do this. Look at how much fun it is, look at how much money I'm making just gambling my fucking life savings away and mending it twice back over. All this bullshit. Hey, everything's going to shit. Hey, remember like back in Berlin when everything was going to shit? What did people turn to then? Prostitution. Out of desperation. What do you think OnlyFans is? How many people, how many women, how many young girls, young women? That's the only way they can make money. Just because it's happening not on the streets and it's happening where you have to go look for it, that's irrelevant. That actually helps them because you don't see the same trends happening when it's not right in your face. They're not standing on the corner. They have a webcam. The desperation's already here. They're already doing this thing. We're actually pretty far along in the process. Time is of the essence. I'm not saying anything violent. I'm saying people need to show their power by standing together against the common evil, the one thing that affects us all. And we are, when it comes to fighting this, we are the only thing. We are built for this. We are the only thing that's built for this. There was one representative of that who was trying to tell us, remind us who we were. And in those books, in those writings, those were taken away. And everything else was rewritten because they couldn't have that. So regardless if it was somebody writing that for the example of, awakening something within others, or if it was someone who may have lived and then they decided to write the details of it so that they could lock our brain into a prison where we think that we have to wait for a savior to come back. This messianic idea. That is not Christian. That is not Christ-like. That does not I don't care what you said. Oh, I can recite this. Yeah, you're reciting their fucking words. There is no, God doesn't make excess. The law of conservation of the universe tells you that nothing is made that's not useful. And if you have a connection with God, and if you actually understand what that means, you have a connection, you feel the tether, you feel the presence, which I do, and I think you probably do too, guides you, kind of is like you're never alone type of thing in a good way. And if you listen to it, you're not listening to yourself, you're listening to something that's loving, right? Like a father figure. That's not, so waiting for Jesus or God himself to come down here, that isn't the way it works. I'm sorry to tell you. Because you know what happens when you're looking for that? You're expecting it to look a certain way, and you will be blind to what it really is and how it actually manifests. And that manifests within all of us. Every one of us is God's creation. Every one of us who has a tether to God, who has empathy and love and compassion in our heart, and they can feel other people's pain. They want to be good because they know how it feels good to be, good to others, and seeing the positive energy coming from them. It spreads, and you can feel people's pain. I don't mean like physically, but I mean you can sense if you put yourself in their shoes. This is called empathy, not sympathy. Sympathy is for simps. Empathy is not wanting to do good because you wouldn't want anybody to do that other thing to you, so you wouldn't do it to others. That's the right and wrong thing. If you have a concept of that and you don't disregard it, these other things have to pretend and try to fake being human-like, and they get it wrong a lot. Like, look at their heroes in that Old Testament. Criminals, thieves, murderers, a guy who brings a gun to a fucking fist fight, David. Did you ever see what those slingshots do? They're all scumbags. Lot, scumbag. Noah, drunken scumbag. They're all fucked up in some way, shape, or form. Abraham, a drugged out scumbag who listened to the voices in his head after he hotboxed in a tent. That's how they used to do it. They used to fumigate rather than smoke something. So he hotboxes in a tent with God knows what fucking pharmakia, comes out, hearing voices, and decides he's going to kill his own son. That is the Jewish mind. That's the guy that they base 3 religions off of. So you'll forgive me if I don't sit around waiting for somebody who told you that's not how it works in the first place. If you want to show God, remember, he helps those who help themselves. Well, if we're sitting around with our hands up or our thumbs up our asses or sitting on our hands, how does that prove that we've either learned our lesson, that we've grown from the experience, that we've matured as a species, or that we deserve intervention? I don't even like, oh, if there's no rapture, then like if there's rapture, then there's no revelation or no whatever coming. Yeah, whatever. No, there's no judgment. Sorry. And if there's no judgment, then whatever. It's like, why are you arguing even that statement? All these are plot devices to keep you locked into a game where all you do is sit and pray while people are shooting at you, while people are starving your family to death. The immediate here and now is what fucking makes or breaks us. I'm personally sick and tired of all the threats that I hear against our livelihood that I'm supposed to just shake off and continue on with my day. I can't do that. I don't have that ability. I wouldn't want that ability. I'm sick and tired of it. I don't want people who I've never met before threaten my very existence or tell me how much harder my life's going to be when they're sitting in their fucking mansions. It's not about envy. It's about the audacity. No one gave you permission to make decisions for us. And even if you think that they did give them permission, not everybody gave them permission. We should be able to individually decide what the fuck we're going to do with our own lives. And then we shouldn't have corporate entities pretending to be representatives of the people doing things that are harming the people's best interests. Stealing their land. How does that help the people? You have to tell the fucking public that it's to preserve some sort of bullshit? You're stealing grazing rights from a farmer? When you're shutting down farms? And it's not just to put up, oh, it's innovation, it's progress. Don't worry about it, it's just progress. No, it isn't. It's not progress to not have food for mankind. And that the only kind of food that you could get, if you get anything at all, is going to be their poison. That's not progress. That's fucking demonic. And who the hell gave them the right to do that? That is nowhere in any paper that I've seen our founders have their name assigned to. In fact, I'm pretty sure they told us if this shit happens, you know what to do. And if Albania was armed, I'm sure it would have been a whole lot different over there already. But they're a communist country, if I'm not mistaken. So, what is our excuse? I'll finish reading this now. And actually, before I do that, let me open up the FTJ because I don't think I did that yet. Hold on 1 second. I gotta get to the other one. This is an older one. I gotta get into the newer one. Give it a second. I already clicked that. I just gotta wait for it. The new version will be a lot more responsive. Did I not? What the fuck? Hold on. Nope. I did, but it reset itself. That's supposed to be the video. Okay. No. Okay, so Vegas of Aces, I'm kind of getting a little irritated with you. I've seen some really fucked up, stupid things that you've said in the last couple of weeks, and I've made a goddamn note of it, okay? They had you at compassion, i.e. the weakness vector. It's not weak to be empathetic. That is your humanity. It's a strength. It's a weakness not to have it, because otherwise you're them. I'm getting really sick and tired of your ass. Just chill the fuck out. Test it. See what happens. Like, it's like the lack of comprehension of what I'm saying, and just be like twitching, reflexive response, and they're not even your own fucking thoughts or words. Oh, that's a weakness to care. Okay, how do you treat your family, asshole? Is that how you roll? We are one big family, and we need to start giving a fuck about each other because we're all in the same goddamn boat and we're all going down. So fucking tired of people. I'm talking to fucking half the people are fucking don't even understand what I'm saying. Like that's what you got out of everything I just said, right? They had you. First of all, you're making a fucking claim, a statement that I have some sort of weakness that you're just so fucking much better. Like it's smug. It's smug and it's irritating and it's insulting. First of all, that's number fucking one. And your posture is bullshit. I'm not telling anybody to pray. I'm telling them the exact opposite. You do that for yourself if you need to. I have a running dialogue. I don't need to slap my hands together. I'm well aware that we haven't been that there is a benevolent creator, but that's irrelevant if you don't think so. The point is there's a connection between those who are legitimately real human beings. And if you want to cut that because you think it's a weakness, you've just fucking failed and they won. And they tricked you. Congratulations. Let's see what we got over here. Make activism great again. Time to get active, everyone. Crusaders isn't serving your race in Minecraft in case Crusaders wants to follow up on its TOS. I guess no offense to you, sir. Good job on being informational. And he says, let's get fucking active. Yes. Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't clicked it either. I don't know if you can see that, but it's right there. Well, I'm probably sitting in front of it, but yeah, I haven't pressed the button. And I won't. And if they kick me off, whatever. It is what it is. Bigger problems are happening right now than worrying about that. And yeah, I said I was going to read the other thing. Let me just check over here real quick. Mike Carlin says, I'm hoping Massey going on the Jews media raising hell about the USS Liberty today gets some of the norm aware and start connecting some dots. Yeah, that's happened in the past. What's happening right now? That's a deflection in my opinion right now. Yes, we get it. Good call. But they're also, that's like co-opting something that other people have been working on to get justice for a very long time. And then, yeah, okay, it's great that he says that. Kind of. Sort of. He said, Mike Garland says, that's it. Unlimited distractions to leprosy. Us flustered. Speaking of leprosy, remember I forgot what kind of fly. The New World, the New World screwworm, which is a maggot infestation in a wound. That's a brand new one. Another scare tactic. IQ in Vegas Oasis says IQ is going down as planned. Yeah, IQ is one thing. That's irrelevant to whether or not you're a good person or whether or not you're a capable warrior. That is completely irrelevant. It's your comprehension level, and that's not the same thing as intellect. Intellect has more to do with empirical knowledge and your ability to memorize lies, because that's all we get fed. Let's see what happens over here on FTJ Media. Emer Snowman, thank you again, sir. Thank you very, very, very much for being a producer of the Ballbusters broadcast. I want to say thank you again to Noticer yesterday, too. That was greatly appreciated as well. And everyone else, including Bushmaster, I think Thomas E. Dwyer, if I'm not mistaken, Burn Before Reading. Thank you, guys. Harry Ball says, greetings, everybody. Burn Before Reading says, and Thomas E. Dwyer said, good evening. Excalibur Pilot said, and so did Alex. And Burn Before Reading says, high five from the chest, which I did. There you go. Dan Simmons made it. / Oh, funny. / That's funny. He wrote it out. It's phonetic. Hello, Irvat. Bushmaster. How you doing? And then Bushmaster says, I don't give a hoot anymore about preterist or eschatological or doctrinal arguments or debates. Baptists, Catholics, Mormons, Amish, Mennonites. I don't care anymore. The only thing I care about is, do they make more white people? If they do, then good. If not, then fuck off. But Christopher says, Bushmaster, ever seen the movie Beer Fest? It's so frustrating, yeah? And then, okay, you guys are talking to each other. Let's go back to, got that. I think it was, yeah. So let me start with this part right here. The proposal seeks to amend Oregon's animal cruelty statutes. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, like this myth-mun modernization. Modernize it by inverting it onto itself. Not that they weren't lying to you beforehand, but they made that declaration under Obama, the modernization. It's an announcement that, hey, we're officially going on record to tell you that everything that we say, nothing that we say has to be true. And it's your fault. No matter what we print, no matter what we say, no matter what we put into a law, none of it has to be honest. None of it has to be true. None of it has to be legally binding for us, but against you, sure. And if you believe it, that's your fault. That's what the Smith-Munn Modernization Act did. It was a declaration of, hey, we might have been doing this for a long time, but now we're telling you officially. So if you continue to believe us after this, that's on you. That's part of the freaking ritual right there. And again, the rules that they do make are only to squeeze out people who are independently pursuing the American dream, which is you can be whatever you want and you can build a business and you can do whatever it is. That is what they have stolen from you, the very essence of being here, of having self-determination, being away from the Roman Catholic Empire, and being able to breathe and pursue whatever you want. And the only thing that you have to worry about is cause no harm. Whatever I'm pursuing, I can pursue to its fullest. I can do whatever I want, provided it doesn't cause loss, damage, or harm to others and their property. And if they do, you must make them whole again. And if you put holes in them and they didn't deserve it, well, then we put holes in you. And everybody's better, right? By removing many of the exemptions that currently protect lawful activities. Right. Forget about this word. These are given. The hunting, yes. Fishing, yes. Trapping, yes. I don't even care so much about the trapping, but there's a place for that, I suppose. Livestock, yeah. How are you going to eat if you can't do that? Accepted animal husbandry practices, scientific research. This is coming from the same. Do you know how ridiculous this is? They don't want you to feed yourselves. Yes, yet you know that the minds and the motivation behind this came from people who practice kashrut or kosher law, right? Kosher killings, which is very brutal, very horrific. Yeah, but scientific. So under current Oregon law, those activities are generally not treated as criminal animal abuse, which they aren't, because they serve legitimate purposes in agriculture, food production, conservation, and human life. IP28 would substantially narrow those protections, leaving only limited exemptions for veterinary care and self-defense against immediate harm. Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh, you think you're going to get an alternative source of meat? What'd they do? Did they weigh this, balance this out before they propose this? Yeah, there's way too many trees for us to log quickly enough in Oregon. Never mind the air quality, right? They're so worried about CO2, yet they're going to... Data centers, yes. Trees, no. But it's not going to be inhabitable on this fucking surface of this planet. Or whatever the hell it's called. This realm. So they say, oh yeah, it's going to be harder to cut all this down in our timeline or our deadline here. So just tell them that because once we do that, the ecosystem will be dead and all the animals will, run into the roads and be killed and starve to death themselves, and then they won't be able to seek other food either. So, and guaranteed, there's so much shit in the places that you think are the cleanest because they know that's where we would retreat to get fresh water, vegetation, go foraging, and hunt to survive and fish to survive. So you better believe that shit's all poisoned. And it will be if it isn't. But now they're saying, yeah, it's going to take too long for us to destroy all that. So tell them that it's illegal to do all those things that would feed them in the first place. As of late May, IP28 supporters had submitted more than 120,000 signatures, exceeding the 117,173 valid. What fucking retards? This is what I'm saying. You're never going to overcome mob rule when it comes to this idea that we have a democracy. Everybody who says that says the word democracy is a demon. They're a freaking demon. There's always going to be more common people than uncommon or exceptional people. They don't even work to try to convince us. They're always working on the ones that are most malleable. And you just trigger their emotions. They have no concept or comprehension of very much. You explain it to them like they're a fucking toddler because that's their mental maturity. And then they're so emotionally driven that they end up becoming the greatest tool against themselves and against their neighbor. 120,000 signatures. Those people should all be doxxed. But whoever proposed this in the first place and the money that they funded this with needs to all be made public knowledge, and the public needs to respond. And I'm saying pillories would be the first, at the very goddamn least. And I know that's a lot of them. Well, do something else with the other people. Those signatures still must be verified by Oregon election officials. Why are they even considering this? Here's the thing. Bad ideas with support don't have any like a validity in law. I don't care what those people want. Those people aren't the representative of the rest of the people who have their heads on their shoulders. Their opinions do not matter. They are not stable. They're not stable individuals if they want. They don't engage in these practices. They eat the shit goy slop at the store, or they're, thinking that they're getting better food at Whole Foods and Sprouts and they can afford it because I don't know what. But these fucking people don't live in a natural environment in the first place, so that's why they don't have respect for it. And they're thinking that they're doing a solid to nature. No. The first the greatest priority here would be human life, because who protects all other life? Well, specifically the ethnic European. But regardless, historically they've been at the top of the podium as far as who protects and conserves properly all of life, including other people. These pieces of shit have no concept of anything. They're told something with some spin, some slant to it, and they sign their names. And those are the type. Okay, cool. You failed the IQ, whatever. I know IQ. You failed the competency test, the aptitude test. You're not really supposed to be able to fail an aptitude test because it's just a measure of what you've got. But apparently, if you have nothing, then you kind of still get a 0. Yeah. Who cares? How many people live in Oregon? What's 120,000 signatures? What does that even mean? So does that mean the people who aren't funded have to take time out of their life a day, their families, and try to drum up more support? Do you see how stupid this is? The reasoning behind this? Oregonians didn't just overnight lose their minds. And who's signing these? Is it the influx of illegal immigrants that they legalized? Is it 120,000, half of them homeless people that they gave cell phones to so they could contact them, so they could go write their? They can't write, but they made a little scratchy scratch on a piece of paper, and or they dictated their name to somebody who can read and write. I told you that when I was in El Cajon El Cajon post office. There was a homeless guy who wanted everybody else to hear his conversation because he had no control of the volume of his voice. And he was, he kept on wanted to make this point. Maybe he was doing us all a favor because of what this actually, reveals. He wanted to vote. He wanted to vote so badly. He wanted to register to vote. And he kept saying, do I have to be literate? This was a white guy, minus the dirt. And, obviously lots of hair on his face. Dirty. I didn't get close enough to smell him. And he kept on talking very loudly, because I can't read and write. but he sure does want his opinion to matter. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Think maybe he was approached, or he has a cell phone and they called him and told him that there'd be an incentive. He'd get a little bit of money. He'd get a gift card somewhere, get a place to stay the night, and he probably doesn't care about showering. What do you think? What do you think was just this burning desire to vote? This is what they throw at you. Those are the people that are representing your. Yeah, those are people that are tipping the scales. Okay. The deadline for an initiative to qualify for the November 3rd election is July 2nd. My daughter's birthday. Meaning, which is actually the true birthday of, well, the true, let me see, I'll tell you right now and I'll prove it. Yes, here we go. Boink. The written Declaration of Independence was dated July 4th, but wasn't actually signed until August 2nd. Okay, that's not what I fucking asked. July 2nd is the actual date of the Continental Congress voted to approve the Lee Resolution. Legally severing ties with Great Britain. The nation celebrates on July 4th instead because that is the day Congress formally adopted the Declaration of Independence. The public press release explaining why they made the decision, blah, blah, blah. The decision, this July 2nd, Congress held a decisive vote on the Lee Resolution. This was the moment the 13 colonies officially broke from British rule, an event founding father John Adams believed would be celebrated as the great national holiday with fireworks and parades. The document, July 4th, because it took 2 more days for Congress to edit and agree on the wording of the drafted Declaration of Independence, the document was officially adopted on the 4th of July. Because the July 4th date was printed on the widely distributed broadsides, the original printed copies of the Declaration, it became etched in public memory as the birth of the nation. Interestingly, the official handwritten document that most delegates actually signed was not ready or inked until August 2nd, nearly a month later. Oh, let's see what this is real quick. Todd, are you the one that called me? Somebody named Todd called me. I don't know, my phone doesn't ring sometimes. I don't know. Also, I do have this amazingly good habit of not taking it with me places. I don't take it with me when I walk unless there's something I need to do at a certain time, and I have to check the time. So I don't take it when I walk. Sometimes I leave it at home when I go places. I just don't. I'm not, whatever. So there's a potential that I wasn't there. I don't know who called me or left it got like in the Google Voice thing, and I just didn't recognize what it was about, so I didn't respond because I didn't. It sounds like there was a conversation being had that I wasn't privy to. Thank you for the $5 donation, Todd. And then double dono Monday says burn before reading. It'll never go away. And all for the right reasons. All right. That's hilarious. If you know what we're talking about. All right. No, Oregonians shouldn't be voting on it because it should have been strucken down for its ridiculousness. You can't say, okay, well, breathing air. 120,000 people don't think breathing air is a right, and it's actually cruel to the microbes in the air. We need to vote on it. We got 120,000 signatures here. somebody should look at it and say, "You're a fucking idiot. Get out of here before we kill you." That's how it should work. That's how it should work. Yeah, good. You've proven that the masses of retards will sign anything with righteous indignation and a whole lot of emotion behind it. Congratulations. It doesn't mean that they thought it through. It doesn't mean that they know shit about shit or how this affects anything else. They don't think down the line. They don't have the comprehension or the ability to see layers of things and understand how it affects all other things. They just think animal cruelty. Yeah, you know what else is considered in the animal kingdom? Yeah, the thing that actually protects the other animals. So starve them to death first, right? It's awfully Jewish of you. Multiple attempts have been made to add a right to hunt and fish amendment. The failed 2016 initiated measure HJR 5 and 2023. Okay, 24 states currently guarantee the right to hunt and fish in their constitutions, with Vermont being first in 1777. Why isn't it all of them? The right to feed yourself. Why was that not? Why does that even have to be written in? How stupid are the people to make this have to be written down for them? This is what I'm talking about with, like, how evil are the people that need "thou shalt not kill" be written down for them? It should be fucking, it's just a granted. Yeah, don't rob people unless you want them to be mad. Don't fuck their wives. You know, it's like, and they're like, "Oh, this is so profound." I'm like, actually, you stole that too. You stole that from him, Robbie, and yes, he was Gothic Aryan, motherfucker. The Peace Act defines an animal as any non-human mammal, bird, reptile. Oh my god, here we go. Any non-human mammal. Yeah, because fuck the humans. They seem to forget what they are, or maybe they're not. They either took that petition to the Jewish community, or they took it to a bunch of liberal, retarded individuals, people who sit inside all day, or homeless, and they don't have asylums anymore. They should. By removing exemptions in Oregon's animal cruelty laws, the measure would make it a crime to intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly injure or kill such animals, except in narrow circumstances. So you can't kill them for food. You can't fish at all, even if it's catch and release, for the joy of it. The Yes on IP28 campaign states that the measure would criminalize the. See, this is how they're This is how they're forming it, because what they're telling you is that you're going to starve to death and we're going to kill you, and the only food you'll have is this fucking poison. But this is how they word it. The campaign states that the measure will criminalize injuring, killing, forced impregnation, and masturbation of mammals. This doesn't sound too Jewish at all. But that they would have to write that in there. Birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish. It would also require all animals under human care to receive adequate food. Well, no shit. But this is, again, okay, wow, this is even more evil than I thought. So now you're going to have people with a bill as their excuse. You've got a dog, it's barking. Some fucking Karen that lives next door to you calls the cops on you, and then they take your animal or take your children or take something else or fucking steal your whatever, because we got a call. There was a concern that you weren't giving your dog the proper care, the proper food, the proper water. Remember how they wanted to get rid of dogs? The Jews don't want you to have dogs. Did you know that? Because dogs can sense evil. This is not a joke. Why do you think they're trained? Why do you think, remember who trains the police? I don't care how small your town is. And if they're special forces, if they're SWAT, if they're, those type of people, they're definitely being trained either by ADL/Mossad/IDF/ fucking feds, which are all trained by the same fucking Jewish fucking cult. What do they do? When they go to raid a house, they shoot the dog. They shoot the dogs. What they do in Waco? They murdered all the kids' dogs. Even the puppies. Why? Because they're demonic. Because Jews hate dogs. They hate them more than the fucking Muslims do. Jews hate all living things. You see them throwing cats off roofs? Yeah, they were doing that. They were throwing cats off of roofs. Flipping them. That's the mentality of the people that they just allowed to murder and invade. Here, open the door. It's not an invasion if I open the door for you. It's no war if you were let in. All animals under human care to receive adequate food, water, bedding. So first of all, no shit, everybody loves their animals. Who determines this? And how could this be used to fuck people up and have no-knock raids? Especially if they don't like your politics or what you're saying online. Oh, you have an animal. Boom! Here goes your door off the fucking hinges. Shelter and space to exercise. And would prohibit animal ownership by individuals convicted of certain animal cruelty. Well, how is that not already a thing? Certain animal cruelty crimes. What do you mean certain? In practice, the measure would effectively ban hunting. This is what I'm fucking talking about right here. This is the real thing. This is the bullshit that they say. This is what it actually does. In practice, the measure would effectively ban hunting, fishing, trapping, livestock slaughter, and many ordinary farming practices. Ranchers could still care for cattle, but they could not kill them for food or forcibly impregnate them for breeding. So, okay. That means you also can't be a dog breeder in Oregon. Which means you won't have, eventually, like, what are you going to do? Get them from a pet store? How do they breed? And does that mean another attack on having personal pets? Yes, it most certainly fucking does. And you can't, okay, so you can't let the animals mate because then they could say you force, like, who determines whether the cattle were in the mood or you gave them some Spanish fly? I don't know. Like, who's going to be standing around you and determining that? The bull's going to be like, she totally wanted me. And the cop's going to be like, no, I think that was forced. That guy over there wanted her to do it, and she wasn't. I could see the look in her eye. She wasn't having it. All to stop the production of food. Hunting and fishing would lose their legal exemption, meaning the act of killing animals for food, recreation, or wildlife management would become criminalized. Animal experimentation, which I'm not okay with, really. I see other options. Experiment on the fucking crazy homeless and Jews. Give their pharmakia to them and see what happens. Animal experimentation, rodeos, 4-H. 4-H! You ever been to a 4-H like thing? I have. We went to them with school and stuff like that. 4-H for you, for America, 4-H. You know. And FFA programs. So I'm kind of curious if they even would have auctions involving breeding or slaughter. Pest control. The cockroaches are now free, everybody. They can do what the hell they want. You try to step on a cockroach, they're going to fucking shoot you right between the eyes while they're spraying you like a bug from above. Actually, they're killing you like a mouse too with the goddamn rat poison in your food. And rat poison literally in your water. What do you think kills them? Fluoride. And wildlife management could also be heavily restricted or prosecuted under the expanded cruelty framework. What this tells me is that the entire veil of us living in whatever the hell anybody had perceived it, I don't care. There's different variations, different levels of understanding of what we consider a constitutional republic or a place where there's a Bill of Rights and there's, rational minds and reason in things, and that there's at the end of it all, people aren't intentionally self-destructive. They're not intentionally trying to crush and destroy the society. I think that all goes out the window here. And whatever your political position, whatever your stance, whatever your concept of life is, this is still an unavoidable, obvious stain on whatever the hell you think you live in, and it is proof positive that this is not a place of reason, that things are done deliberately in the inversion to destroy you, to destroy sensible living, to put you in a place of chaos and stupidity in hell. Hell is just a lack of reason. It's lack of sensibility. Doing things that are completely self-destructive in the opposite fashion as what they should be. This is where we are. This is where we are. This is where we are. What are we going to do about it? The measure would expand. My mouth is dry if you see me doing this a lot. I got the measure would also expand Oregon's animal sexual assault statute. Well, if you put that in there, the Jews and the Muslims are going to be very upset. They like to, some of them came, especially the migrants, they came here, they're fifth generation goat fucker. You going to tell them that they can't practice their religion here? And to include certain breeding practices, including contact with animal sex organs for the purpose of impregnation or masturbation. They've never been farmers. I don't know what the hell they think they're doing here. It sounds like it's a whole extra step, like stupidity, but for livestock producers would rely on artificial insemination or other reproductive management practices, those activities could lead to criminal prosecution unless performed by a veterinarian. A threat to agriculture and food security. No shit. Supporters of IP28, particularly yes on IP28, argue that Oregon can meet human needs through plant-based alternatives such as crop. Dude, who's going to make it? The corporations? Plant-based bullshit. Who's going to... You don't have use of your land anymore. Where are the crops coming from, you fucking moron? They're eminent domaining everything. All fucking food is going to be gone. Where the fuck are you going to get it from? And now you're saying, well, you can't hunt or fish for it either. And you can't go forage because everything's going to be poisoned anyway. Crops, fruits, nuts, vegetables, and other non-harmful methods. Fuck you to try to make everybody a goddamn vegetarian. Fuck you. Pushing your goddamn bullshit politics on people and calling everything else harm. This is why I hate vegetarians, and this is why I hate vegans. Because this is what they do. You want to do something alternative? No, the whole world has to. Remember how we were talking about Kellogg? Remember how this was a globalist initiative agenda to make people ill? To make sure that they're not getting the proper amount of cholesterol so their brain doesn't function, so that their hormones are in the tank, are tanked, so they don't have sexual desire, so they don't have all of the things that they need in order to be healthy, so that they're not men. Remember all that? Remember that's what we were talking about. They were not supposed to have any type of provocative thoughts, and that's why they were put on a vegan/vegetarian diet by Kellogg. The Seventh-day Adventists, who then disavowed him. He kept on going with his asylum, and then they were fucking crazy, so it's a good place for him. Remember when stupid ass fucker Dr. Artis was like, yeah, red light therapy. Kellogg invented this because he's such a brilliant guy. And like, he was a Rockefeller funded piece of shit. And you're saying, oh, yeah, but the red light therapy in certain levels, get the official Kellogg one, because he was a scientist, right? Yeah, the official Kellogg one. Nothing's changed and gotten improved since then. It's got to be the Kellogg version. Otherwise, he's just always selling some bullshit. He's always selling bullshit. That's why we don't talk anymore. And then you know where it's coming. When you know where it's coming from, it's like, yeah, okay, all right, Mormon. Thanks for that, Mormon. Oh, I'm not a Mormon anymore. Dude, that's like saying you're no longer CIA. It's like saying I'm not in the mob anymore. Like you don't get to tell them when that is. You just get reassigned. The initiative would create a human transition fund to provide grants for food assistance. Of course, it would be money. Income replacement for what? The multi-generational farmers, job retraining, conservation, and you know what else this kills? Raw milk, or milk at all, or eggs. Things that are super fucking healthy for you. No butter. And rewilding. This is the fucking words of this is the global death cult's words. Rewilding. That is their words. Rewilding. Everything goes into fucking overgrowth and decay. It's the lack. When you're doing something productive with the land and it's feeding people, it's not better for nature to rewild it. If they wanted to rewild something, why don't they fucking worry about the logging in the freaking forest in these BLM, territories, or where they're taking people's land to put data centers on it, and they're destroying all kinds of shit, and they're going to destroy the environment. Why are these people so concerned about making everybody a fucking forced vegetarian, a forced vegan? What the fuck is this? Honestly, there's so many things to be completely outraged about, and nobody's outraged about any of it. By the way, these are child killers. By the way, they're child rapists. By the way, they eat fucking babies. They chop off fucking children's heads. Why the fuck are we still here? Why are we allowing this? Just saying the word Rockefeller, do you think it's just some guy who's like an oil tycoon, standard railroad guy? He's completely tied to the Rothschilds who want us all dead. He created a system where everybody is being murdered slowly through their genocidal eugenics program that they call healthcare. And they outlawed, just like they're trying to do with this, outlawed for a time almost like completely naturopathy, homeopathy, Ayurvedic, chiropractic. And it slowly started coming back, but terraformed. Watered down. Green allopathy, called naturopathy. No concept of homeopathy whatsoever. Completely. And then if you look it up on the internet, it's a failed or flawed or ineffective method of treating disease. Well, first of all, it doesn't treat disease because diseases are made up. It treats you. It treats the person who's having symptoms. That's what it treats. Diseases are just names that spellcasters use to cast spells. That's why they call it spell casting. Yeah. So they say, "Ooh, cancer." That's very generic anyway. Oh my God. So chemo and radiation. Don't worry. How about you give them the nutrients that they've been lacking that caused them to have this growth, this buildup of toxins that then became, if it is a tumor, if it's a blood cancer like leukemia, then they're just using markers in your blood in a snapshot in time to determine what you have, and then they start poisoning the shit out of you before you can test that again. And by the time they test you again, it's after they've already poisoned the fuck out of you with chemo and radiation. So what they're actually, reading out is the very effect of their poisoning campaign on you. So it's skewed from what reality is. If you had nutrients, your body would have fucking fixed itself. It's not. It's like the no-seum cancer is the easiest one to lie about and tell people that they have when you want to cash in on them and then kill them. Because that's the glory one right there. If you don't think that, I don't care if you don't think that the doctors are in on that. They're so indoctrinated that they do harmful, stupid things to people all the time. And when it harms them, they don't even think that, okay, maybe it could be our methods are fucked up. They think, oh, well, weak people, you're just a bag of chemicals waiting to break. You're weak. Oh, it's your genetics. You had shitty genetics. It's always your fault. It's your fault because when you were at your weakest and then we poisoned you severely, how come you died? You some kind of bitch? Rewilding. Rewilding is the destruction of all farmland. That's what it means. Rewilding is the destruction of any place that gives inspiration or produces something useful. They're going to let overgrowth occur. When you are utilizing the land to feed people, you're not harming nature. You're not doing something like what is better than agriculture when it comes to that? If you're not spraying a bunch of bullshit that's exactly the corporations that have actually implemented this shit, that have provided the poisons to farmers. And if you don't get the yield of this guy, you're not going to make any money for the loan they have to take out every season. So you have to take this shit that they load with poison and spray that all over your crops. Otherwise, you won't get the yield. You got to buy their seeds, not the heirloom ones. They force them to do all kinds of fucked up shit as it is. And the ones that die out, that don't survive, all the better. Factory farms, where it's at, bro. Why don't they go after them? Why don't they go after the factory farms for animal cruelty? Why are they worried about just regular farmers? Why are they worried about people who hunt and fish? In Oregon, do you know how the freaking salmon run goes through there? Goes through the Columbia River. So how do they freaking zone that out? You have to be dead center of the Columbia River, and then a foot over into what we consider like Washington's side, and then you're okay to fish. Like, who's gonna follow that? Well, you will if there's drones. You will if Palantir's floating their little fucking stupid boats around. I showed you those boats. But this proposal misunderstands both economics and human nature. Human survival, you mean? Agriculture is not merely an industry. It is a way of life, a source of food security. Okay, but you're missing the whole point. It's not harmful to the land. You are a steward of the land and the animals. And yes, you do use them for food, but you also raise them. And if you're not a piece of shit factory farmer, you don't treat them like shit either. Source of food security and necessary part of civilization. Oregon farmers and ranchers raise livestock for meat, dairy, eggs, fiber, and other products that families rely on every day. Yeah, imagine not being able to have chicken. I would fucking... You might as well just drop the nuke now and destroy everything in Oregon. All the beautiful, amazing attributes it has, because it's going to be a wasteland anyway. If the fucking vegetarian cult has their say, which is, by the way, the very same banking cult in disguise, because all they're doing is they're exciting a bunch of retards and politicizing a way of life and forcing it upon other people. I hate people like that. It's one thing I don't like animal cruelty. Hunting and fishing isn't that. Especially when it's done for survival. When it's an alternative food source, because they've already effectively poisoned the shit out of every other aspect of life that you can't escape. That your only option is to maybe raise your own animals or go hunt them. Criminalizing the ordinary practices that make animal agriculture possible would not end demand for those products. It would simply drive production out of state, raise costs, undermine local farmers, and make Oregon more dependent on outside sources of food. Right. But this is the interdependency thing. Remember, states are going to be completely sectioned off from one another, even though they're still going to be under the one demonic globalist umbrella. The corporatocracy, the Dark Enlightenment, wants micro territories for billionaires to rule over like fucking kings. Whether intentional or not, this proposal also fits into a broader global attack on farmers, exactly, ranchers, and local food independence under the banners of sustainability. So these are the same retards that believe in climate change. When you cut down all the trees and you build data centers, they're the same people that are fucking dictating climate to you. That should be punishable by you know what in Minecraft. And it should be immediate, and the people should all rise up against it. Sustainability should happen. I'm waiting. I'll join once you get there. I'm not going to be the only one. Sustainability, climate, and food security. international organizations and globalist entities have pushed policies aligned with the United Nations Agenda 2030 that restrict agriculture, undermine private property. This is in action. They didn't have to wave a banner saying, "Oh yeah, this is Agenda 2030." But that's what it is. And consolidate control over food production. Farmers around the world have faced draconian restrictions in the name of environmental protection. The Netherlands, I believe, also was it Denmark? I mean, they're always fucking with New Zealand and Australia. Let's see. Farmers around the world have been... Yeah, okay, we said that. IP28, IP all over, may be a state ballot initiative, but its practical effect follows the same pattern. Weaken independent food producers, exactly, the independent ones. The only thing that this was intended for. The only thing it was intended for. I guarantee you there's be exemptions for the factory farms, because those are the ones that they control. Restrict traditional agriculture. Restrict? What do you mean restrict? This is going to be fucking done. And move society toward greater dependence on government-approved food systems and politically favored alternatives. Opponents, including agricultural and hunting groups, warn that first of all, why are we even having this conversation? Why are the ones that oppose it feel like they have a need to explain themselves? You don't validate or legitimize insanity by trying to defend your position. You simply tell them that they're fucking retarded. And if that's not enough to stop them, and other people don't collectively say, yeah, this is fucking retarded. You're a traitor. You're a maniac. You need severe help. This is not even coming near a desk. If that's not the outcome, then people have to start getting, you know what I mean, hands-on, let's just say. But don't try to, let me explain why this is a bad idea, because this is going to affect... What? Zero tolerance, man. They warn the measure would threaten Oregon's rural economy and potentially affect farmers, ranchers, hunters, anglers, wildlife. All the people that they're intentionally trying to... I think they're aware of that. And tribal communities. Oh, they might be able to get something in there for the tribal community. So there's a little exemption. Everybody's got to be native. What the fuck that's supposed to mean? The Oregon Hunters Association estimates that Oregon has more than 330,000 licensed hunters and more than 500,000 licensed anglers. And that hunting and fishing generate... Oh my God, why are you fucking doing this with the money? Annually in economic activity for Oregon communities. Oh, what you'll lose. Is this how you get the demon to change their mind to talk about the money? Is that why? Is that why they're doing that? Because how about the simple fact that this is the most moronic, evil thing I've heard, and why should everybody be forced to be a fucking vegetarian or a vegan? Who the fuck are they? And if they want to propose something like that, I think everybody should know where they live. And I want to know who funded it. And I want to know who gave them the idea to do this. And I want to know for each other year too. What are the years they're written up here? And I want to know all of them too. IP28 would also undermine the very conservation efforts that its supporters claim to value. While outside the legitimate role and scope of government, hunting and fishing license fees, tax related, oh my God, shut the fuck up with the tax revenue, help fund wildlife management, habitat restoration, hatchery programs. Again, it's like you're validating insanity. It's like a retard, like a demonic child said something, and you're like spending way too much time trying to explain to them why it's a bad idea, instead of going, shut the fuck up. You know, sometimes like when you're being stupid, you gotta get ridicule would help too. You have to be reeled back into reality. When you can't offend anybody, this is what you get. If Oregon eliminates hunting and fishing, it will eliminate a major funding source for Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife and other conservation programs. One positive theoretical outcome is that the conservation efforts would then come from private entities, but that is not the intent, nor would it be the actual outcome. Shut the fuck up. The constitutional view. Here's the constitutional view. This is fucking retarded. They should all be hung. There. This is going on and on and on and on. This is way too much. Way too much. Maybe I'll read some more of it in a bit, but I'm going to get up for a moment. Y'all. I got something for you, though. Why are we burning beehives? Because demons. Because demons, okay? Because demons. Overnight military training exercise jolts quiet Pasadena neighborhood. We got that. And we got it's happening. Live exercises in California. No warning. No, nothing. That was the day before. Let's roll with this one. Let's do a round robin here. Everyone ran away. Fuck it. And we gotta go down. It wasn't this Todd that called. Oh, okay, bud. Edward Snowman says you can have your animals sexually assaulted only by a licensed professional. Oh, Christopher Lee Steller. When Karen is satanic, Frank is Jewish, then it's off to Tattletale land of torturing goats. Tattletale land of torturing goats. We will go. Yeah, yeah. Sacrificial chaos is what the title of that document reads as. In my crazy gematria. Oh yeah, cool. I saw you said. Yeah, that was an elbow at me, right? Further legal conquest into soylent production with neo-Bolshevik distribution practices. Alex says, "Got something for us, huh? Man, it better be free. You sheet." All right, let's go to Genuine Goy says, and if they want to propose something like that, then everyone should know where they live. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I said. Exactly. Uh-huh. Good job. All right, now let's go into follow. Okay, I don't know where you are, but let's go for it. I ain't no follow back girl. The song popped up. I guess that was about Courtney Love. I never knew that. Let's see. So we're gonna do this one. I'll be back in a moment, probably. Rebecca had her surgery today, so I gotta go check on her and make sure she's all right. All right. Yeah, I drove her out. I got up early this morning. Drove her out, hung out with her till the prep was done, and then my daughter and I went to the house. Then we went to Hot Topic for her. She wanted something. It's a cute thing, not kid stuff related, but it was cute. And then we got the call while we're still there, walking out. So we took off, got back. I was that quick of a procedure, and then I went out and got lunch for her, and I had a really unpleasant experience with. Hey, yeah, she wants the chili. It says she told me to go to this place, and it was a Mexican little box, and she said they have really great food. And I said she wants a chili relleno burrito, and she wants beans and rice. It comes with beans and rice. I said, does it come with it on the side? No, it comes with it inside. Okay, well, she wants beans and rice. So you want the plate? I'm like, does that mean I get the burrito and the two fucking things I said? Because sure. But I want the burrito. It says burrito. She wants a burrito. And it's like, how is it this hard to figure out when you sell the sides that she might be hungry enough because she couldn't eat for, you don't have to know all these other things, but why is it so hard to comprehend beans, cup, rice, whatever fuck you put it in, right? Those things. And they want a chili relleno burrito, but it comes with that. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. But she also wants that. Like, couldn't comprehend that. Couldn't comprehend it. So they marked me up for the wrong shit. And I said, well, you charged me $12 for a $9 burrito because you brought me out the plate and I told you I didn't want that. she's at the house. I'm there trying to get her food to her, and they're fucking retarded. 2 people couldn't comprehend this. I said, no, you don't get it. She wants a chili relleno burrito, and she wants the fucking beans, and she wants rice that you guys sell on your sides menu. Why is that hard to figure out? Well, the beans and rice are in the burrito. Fucking stop saying that. Oh my God. Fucking Twilight Zone. So I hate Mexicans now. That's it. I just hate them. I tried really hard to, because there's a majority of them out here. I have some friends that are really awesome, but I don't know what the fuck happens to the majority of them. They're fucking retarded, and they don't understand like simple things. I also asked for but I was so irritated by the experience that I had also ordered a burrito, which was, in my opinion, overpriced. $9 for a fucking burrito is kind of expensive. If you're not at like some stupid event. So I brought it home and I told Rebecca, have both of them because I'm so enraged right now. I don't even want to fucking touch anything that they've cooked. I hate them. I hate them that much now. I calmed down later. I tried it. It was really good, but I just couldn't understand why that was such a hard thing to figure out. It made no sense to me why that was hard to figure out. She wants a chili relleno burrito. I don't care what's inside the burrito. She's the one that said she wanted it. She can deal with what the ingredients are. She also wants beans and rice because she's hungry because she didn't get to eat since yesterday because of the fucking surgery. Can she just have the fucking food that she asked for? We'll be back in a moment. Stick around.
Councilmember Rick Hull here in front of the former St. Luke's Hospital, where the U.S. Army is conducting a training exercise in urban warfare. As you can hear, flashbangs and simulated gunfire are going on. They're going to be going on for the next half an hour, we're told. It's 1 a.m. and we're in the middle of what is normally a quiet residential neighborhood. Homes literally across the street with people trying to sleep. The Ranger helicopters just dropped soldiers off the roof. They're simulating an attack on the building. And this is going to go on for a while. And good luck to the people that have got to get up and go to work tomorrow morning.
Quite exciting to see in person.
Some explosions inside, some bangs and flashes.
A lot of flashes actually.
Well, did the booms keep you up overnight? The U.S. military doing training exercises. This is new video just into the newsroom at the now shuttered St. Luke's Hospital building in Pasadena. There were helicopters, controlled explosions, and simulated weapons fire. Similar activity was reported in Irvine.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It is the 8th of June, 2026, and the clock is ticking, and moves are being made all around us right now. Something I didn't mention last night was, the rumors going around is California is going to run out of gasoline very soon, which is probably why they're out there training right now to get ready for this, because we have military bases all over the United States where they can train no problem. Simulated urban environments from Russia, from Iran, from Iraq, from Afghanistan, and from America. We don't need to do this. And the fact that they just do not care one bit at all that people live there, because this isn't the home of the free and the brave. People are out there like, this is exciting, this is awesome. That's what they're counting on, and it makes complete and total sense when you remember this just occurred. Congress just merged our military with the Israeli military, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever at all. At all. The number one country to ever spy on the United States is Israel. Do you see what I'm saying? But here's the plan. Here's why they did this. And I wanted to make this video today to say this really clearly. They did this because if American troops, U.S. Marines, U.S. Army are hesitant to fire on American citizens, which Joe Biden signed into law saying you can fire on American citizens, not Trump, because they're all the exact same thing. Different face, same people in the background running things, period. The reason why they signed this into law is if American troops don't fire on American citizens, the IDF absolutely will. And I guarantee you, if you were on that training mission, rjcjr10@yahoo.com, this is your country. If there was Israeli troops training with you, hit me up, let me know. But this is utterly insane. All the while, people are making videos like Donald Trump tore Netanyahu a new one in leaked phone call. Well, here's a fun little fact for you. If the phone call was leaked, it wasn't leaked. They wanted us to hear that. But Trump really put Netanyahu in his place, didn't he? No. Because Netanyahu just started up with Iran all over again. Remember when I told you that this war would never stop? This war is being used as a tool to bring in the new world order. You can call it the Great Reset. You can call it Agenda 2030, but it's the new world order, period.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Now, that was back in the old days.
We got issue in America.
Sorry, I'm not running this through editing software. I need to do this right now. I got a bunch of stuff I have to do today, but I had to put this out. Netanyahu isn't listening to Donald Trump whatsoever at all, or at least that's what they want you to think. Do you see what I'm saying? This is utterly insane. We have a UFC fight at the White House, which is unprecedented. It's never happened before. It's insane. And UFC world champions from America aren't allowed to go to this event, even though they actually bought tickets, which they cost the same as a car or a house to get tickets. UFC world champions. The guy currently holding the belt, Sean Strickland, isn't allowed to go to the UFC event, but Netanyahu will be. A war criminal will be. I mean, this is utterly insane. Insane. And I am telling you right now, if you don't have a 401k or an IRA, this doesn't apply to you. You see what I'm saying? It just doesn't apply to you. But if you do, get your money out of the bank right this minute because time is ticking. Fill this out and they'll send you a free 5-gram silver bar. It's not much, but so what? It's more than, it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. But get your money out of the bank while you still can right now. Or regret it and say, I should have listened. Do you see what I'm saying? They are going to reevaluate the dollar at some point in gold in there and let them steal all of it from you anymore. They're getting it done straight up right in front of our faces. And of course, Americans are like, this is exciting. 1 o'clock in the morning, the U.S.
What's with the audio? It's fucking low as shit. Hold on. That's awful. Hold on.
It's Richie from Boston. It's the 7th. It's June. It's 2026. I did not want to make a video tonight. It's 7:15.
It's kind of the same thing, but that other one was shit for audio.
Time, but I have to because of this. What is that? Is that out in Iran? Is that in some foreign country? Is it at a military bases? one of the many, many, many military bases that I've been to, many of you have been to, that are all over the United States of America. Now, it's in Pasadena, California. And the residents were completely freaking out because these guys are doing night missions with explosions, landings, repellings, etc. And they said, the Army said, we put it out on Instagram. We told you on Instagram. This is the military flexing right now. This is the military flexing because they know there's nothing anybody can do about this whatsoever at all. We have training facilities at military bases all over the United States. Stand by, dogs. As soon as I hit that blue button right there, they start tearing things apart. There is no reason in the world they need to be training in California right now, except that's where they plan on attacking. They plan on it. This will happen all over the place. Remember the old days and people were like, that's them taking down the deep state. They're going to arrest all the bankers. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. The government is a gang. Everybody in the military is either in on it, can't get out of it, or just doesn't care anymore. Like so many people don't care. They probably gave them a stupid story like, there's people like A Call for an Uprising and Richie from Boston and a bunch of other channels. I can't think of any off the top of my head that really rabble rouse. Well, look at this. You see how they showed up with no warning? Oh, we put a post on Instagram. So everybody in California obviously checks their Instagram every day to see if the military is going to show up, blowing things up that are literally setting off people's personal car alarms. What this is for is so that when they do show up, they can just say, it's training, until it ain't. Do you understand what's happening right now? They're doing this. This is completely real. This is coming. Our country is over. It's over. Well, we're doing it to be protective about the World Cup. Shut up, man. These guys don't care about that. And you do not need troops in the streets blowing shit up, setting people's personal car alarms off to protect people at the World Cup. You know what I mean? If the country is just so unsafe, don't have it. But third world countries have it. No problem. It's only in America for some reason. Why would that be, I wonder? Sorry. Imagine you're sleeping and have no idea this is coming and this happens, because it did happen. This is FUBAR. Google it.
He was like, oh, like he just left. And I was like, oh, they're coming back.
And take note, there's civilians all over the place because this isn't a closed arena. Surely nothing could go wrong with helicopters and troops absolutely everywhere with night vision goggles on and fully automatic weapons, etc. Surely nothing can go wrong. Do you see what I'm saying? This is insane. This is utterly insane. This is so, oh, They're training until they ain't. There's no reason for this. We have more than enough training in urban areas, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Venezuela, every place else, Mexico. Do you see what I'm saying? We don't need to be doing this. And the fact that they don't even have it on the news, they don't give you a week's notice. People are out there going, what the actual... Those are fast reaction teams, okay? Fast reaction. How do I know? Because I know. I remember those days, sitting on the side of the helicopter, going down the rope, air assault. It's the scariest thing on earth. But I digress. That is to come down, scoop up people, and roll out. Or come down, kill a bunch of people, and roll out. And this is how the...
Do you see what sitting ducks would be? Fully armed, military, people walking around, unarmed, with phones, staring down at their phones, curious, but still kind of detached. And if they're concerned, they're still unarmed. June 6th, 2026. So, 666. Yeah.
Stream is reporting it. Terrifying scenes as Apocalypse Now style military training rattles SoCal and why it could continue for years. Published on 666. And what's that time? 9.
Stop it, Richie.
No, I can't make anything out of it. But I mean, this is the new world order. This is it. Helicopters simulated gunfire, flash grenades rattled Pasadena, Long Beach, and other suburbs this week. This exercise could reportedly continue in Southern California for years. Federal officials say large-scale tactical training as law enforcement agencies gear up for a year.
Oh, check this out. Teen's chilling cry revealed as a jury sees bombshell new footage of Carmelo Anthony attempting to flee scene. Ditch knife.
Series of major international events. Do you see what I'm saying? These billionaires are taking everything over, and in order to do so, they have to do what they're doing right now, and they're doing it. Did I not tell you? What the actual, seriously? At any rate, Richie from Boston, do this. Get your money out of the bank.
All right, Richie, thank you. Get your money out of the bank. What's up, YouTube? All right. I've got a little bit more to go here. I got a couple other things. Don't care about that. No, fuck off. I'm deleting you. That's all I wanted to do. For that, I would have had an absolute heart attack. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Whoa. Where'd that come from? Oh shit, that's super loud. Oh, alright, I turned it up, that's why. No, couple 2 tree, no elbow, strictly rigatoni, he said. And we did that one, but he fucked it all up. Let's see. I gotta do something over there. I just gotta kind of. That was the low one, right? Yeah, that was the low one. I think.
Rangers.
Yeah. So that's too long. I gotta give you something else here. That's not it. This is where we're recording now. It's a Bracifalopicus channel. I didn't realize that it doesn't default saying, yeah, no, it's not made for kids, and why doesn't it just stick that way? So I think that's why I'm not getting any views here. Because they're fags. They're gay fags. Anyway. So I gotta fix all those. The trouble with insect cyborgs. Somebody sent me this yesterday. I think it was it you, Karen? What the hell do we live in? Why are we here? And can we get back to where the hell we're supposed to be? Yes, first Fire 508. You're over here too, huh? Aren't you over on Rumble? I mean, FTJ. All right. Well, we got. Why is this not showing? Hold on. It should be still streaming, yeah? Okay, good. All right, let me go grab this one other thing. I got to make sure that everything's... my daughter should be home soon, and I'm going to take care of something over here for her. But I'll be back in a minute. It would be nice if I could find something simple and quick. Let's see. 31 minutes is not simple or quick. 20 minutes is not that much either. 22. What the fuck you doing to me here? 20. Ah! Oh, that's VSOF. I got to look at that later. The DARPA thing. Yeah, that's interesting. DARPA, aka Bezos' dad or grandfather or some shit, founder. All right, let's do the beehive thing. That's kind of
Middle of
irrelevant.
COVID crazy times, when the government was changing the rules week to week to create widespread fear and uncertainty. Supply chains became threatened, so we decided to become more self-sufficient and in control of our food sources. The property we took over had a lot of beehives, and the vendors asked if they could leave some on site until they could move them. We learnt a lot over the following months, including the scam of hive infections and the industry built around it. In this video, I'll share the surprising details with you and blow apart the narrative concerning American foul brood disease. We'll also examine other questions such as, is honey medicinal? And is honey an antimicrobial? First off, I will clarify that we are relatively inexperienced beekeepers and do not claim to be knowledgeable in the craft. However, we do have several beekeeper friends, and what always strikes us is how passionate they are about the activity. Our own feelings about beekeeping are more mixed, and as everyone knows, getting stung by bees...
It's no picnic.
A few years back, my husband Mark was stung about 20 times in his leg while working near beehives. He struggled to walk for the next few days with serious leg swelling and inflammation after the large dose of venom. So we were somewhat relieved when the beehives were finally moved from our property. However, soon after that, colourful envelopes from a government department started appearing in our mail on a regular basis. Then a few agents in beekeeping suits turned up at the gate and looked disappointed when we said that the previous owners, who were commercial beekeepers, had moved on. As it is with most of these things, it was all about money. Like many countries, the government claims to require to regulate beekeeping, and in New Zealand they certainly appear to be excited about the business. There is, of course, a tax involved, which is currently set as $46 per beekeeper and $2.24 per bee colony. If you want to export honey, then you need to pay an additional $155.25. The whole arrangement is purportedly under the Biosecurity Act 1993, an egregious piece of legislation that we covered during the COVID-19 era. In this case, they don't want to burn your house down for alleged contagion, but compel the burning of beehives and associated equipment. This is not an idle threat, and in 2024, a beekeeper not far from us was forced to burn 10,000 bee boxes under duress, facing fines or even imprisonment for non-compliance. It was reported that 2 out of 6 tests at the site came back positive for spores of American foul brood disease, or AFB. The government agency decided that it was time to burn them all. Indeed, it was reported by the owner that he was ordered to destroy 2 full bays of equipment worth $2 million, including 2,000 new boxes that were shrink-wrapped. According to Wikipedia, AFB was first described as a specific entity in 1906 in the US government booklet Bacteria of the Apiary by Gershom White. The Wikipedia entry for American foul brood states that in 1907 it was demonstrated conclusively that the bacterium Bacillus larvae was the cause of American foul brood disease by fulfilling Koch's postulates, and gives a single citation. The citation simply comes back with White 1907, and no further details or links are provided. This is where things get interesting. First of all, a search of PubMed using White 1907 returned no relevant results. An AI-generated response still claimed that in 1907, G.F. White conclusively demonstrated that the bacterium Bacillus larvae was the cause of American foul brood by fulfilling Koch's postulates, establishing a definitive link between the pathogen and the disease. And that's because its top information sources, wait for it, Wikipedia. Ah, the wonders of AI and its propensity to parrot appeals to authority and closed-loop citations. In any case, its second-ranked source is a 2020 article in the journal Frontiers in Microbiology. However, this article states that the causative pathogen has been described by White, 1906, as Bacillus larvae. You will note that the year 1907 has changed to 1906, and the reference is back to White's government booklet, The Bacteria of the Apiary. There's no mention of Koch's postulates here. White only states that the results of these examinations show that Bacillus larvae was present in all the specimens examined, which suggests that it very probably figures as an etiological factor in the disease. In other words, White simply observed that the bacterium was associated with a disease state known as American foul brood. After that, the story has been twisted into causative, and now the quote scientific literature simply repeats a falsity that nobody is checking. This is of course no surprise to those of us who know that Koch's postulates have never been fulfilled for any microbe. The postulates were scientifically formulated and falsifiable, but Koch never fulfilled them himself. If you are unaware of this hidden history, then you can watch any of my videos on Koch's work, or a video such as Why Pathogens Don't Exist. In the case of American foul brood, it is not a misinterpreted Koch's postulates experiment, but seemingly no experiment at all. In essence, a myth that a bacterium is the causative agent. The myth is powerful and led to the establishment's celebration of a purported vaccine in 2022. This is a product made by the biotech firm Glidden, and the US Department of Agriculture granted its conditional approval in 2023, while the Canadian Food Inspection Agency authorised use of the vaccine later that year. In 2024, Science News reported that a vaccine for bees has an unexpected effect. Honeybees immunised against bacteria also fought off a virus. Now we have gone from bacterial mythology to viral fantasies. There were, of course, no viruses shown to exist, and when the story mentions them, it is, quote, as measured by a PCR test. However, they sourced their explanation from biochemist Andrea Gwynn, who works on human vaccines for the biopharmaceutical company GSK. The article continues, the results are still preliminary, and the researchers aren't sure exactly why immunising bees against bacteria might also protect against viruses, Swift said. It may be because bees' immune systems aren't as specific as those of humans and other mammals. Anything that revs up bees' immune responses may help them take on multiple intruders. Now we are getting into the unfalsifiable concept of the immune system. If you are unsure why this is so, then please watch my video, Is Immunity Real? You can also check out all of the resources over at Virology that deal with the pseudoscience of antibodies and immunity. Additionally,
Right. There's defense, there's resistance, there's your body naturally functioning at its optimal level when you have the essential nutrients that it needs, and especially the minerals. where very little will set it off balance. You would, that's just something deliberately. You can't have cyanide. You can't, obvious shit, right? Overwhelming stressor. But as far as the inner workings of your body, the idea, concept of virus being the cause in the first place is why people think that that's just a thing and that you need antibodies and all this other crap. It's all bullshit. But the pleomorphic microzyma in your body will and can be signaled by something that influences it to change its course and behavior. And it can also, a certain stressor or some sort of pulse or some sort of radiation going through you can send a signal to your body that puts it in a state of not just dis-ease, but also without data that it needs in order to fix itself. And when you don't have the nutrients, excuse me, you're at a weakened state, so those stressors are more, you're more susceptible to them. It's like having your force shields weakened, like your magnetic field is weakened. When you use homeopathy, you're basically the similars, the law of similars, those types of symptoms that you're getting. You find something that in nature a healthy person would receive the same types of symptoms. You use just the trace amount of that substance. It's just enough to give the information to the body that's missing. And then it is able to fix itself, provided it has all the nutrients it needs to be strong enough to do so. The only real curative medicine is homeopathy. And if you don't have the essential nutrients and you're staying away from the poisonous food, then you're going to get ill. Plain and simple.
The notion of revving up the immune system is truly incredible. Apparently this is good sometimes, but not others when it is called an autoimmune disease. All of this nonsense has been a distraction from the initial claim that Dallin's vaccine is supposed to protect against American foul brood. For Science News reported that an apiary let Dallin use 400 hives for the study, which lasted for one season. Half of the hives got a new vaccinated queen and half got a new unvaccinated one. And the result...
They're vaccinating bees, they're vaccinating minnows before they grow into full-size fish. They're vaccinating every fucking thing. These are demons in charge of your world. Demons who think that... They use the excuse that life is fragile. What that excuse does is it allows them to override and offset nature and defy God. And your vital force, which is stronger without their meddling, because they hate you and they want you to die, and they're afraid of what you are when you're fully who you are, because you're unstoppable force in comparison to them. The lies don't work so well when everything functions, when you're not fluoridated, when you're not vaccinated. The bullshit, the facade, the deceptions, the ruse, the spells, they don't work so well. Their poisons don't work so well when you're fully healthy. So everything that you consume, everything that lives, they have to vaccinate. And now fucking bees. When she can say it with a smile, her face looks pretty funny right now. She can say it with a smile. But we are living with demons in control of our world. We all know what they are. Oy vey! And we need to get something done about this. It needs to be taken care of. And look at Albania. Okay? No, they don't have firearms. I don't think, because it's a communist country. But that's the type of collective response. And I'm sure not all those people get along. I'm sure there's prejudices. But you threaten them all with something, and they all come online and say, fuck that. So when is it going to be enough? When are we going to recognize what needs to be done? And that it can be accomplished if we all stand together. I'm not asking for the retards who come up with that fucking retarded bill about stopping all fishing and hunting. I can't imagine any of those people being functioning in society. They lived with their parents too long or something to bitch and moan. Like, okay, you want to be vegan? Fine. You want to be a vegetarian? That's great. You're going to have low sex hormones. You're going to be fat because you don't understand where fat comes from. And you're going to be ill. You're not going to be as healthy as you could be with all your nutrients. Cholesterol, brain. No cholesterol, less brain. Got it? Nobody can deny that. Nobody can argue it. You need cholesterol. It's part of your liver makes it. It's so important. So, what the fuck? There's only one source for that I'm aware of.
No cases of foul brood disease were found in any of the hives. This apiary was just too good at controlling the disease.
Foul brood disease? Can we hang some people yet? They're going after the fucking bees. They're injecting the things that pollinate. These are diabolical pieces of shit. So the company couldn't determine how effective the vaccine was against its intended target. They never even verified that it was a fucking whatever. I'm sure they're going to call that a virus. People need to be Leo franked in great numbers. In great numbers. It's so great that there isn't an organization built after it, because those people would be Leo franked as well. No more ADLs, please.
Swift said. So the company couldn't determine how effective the vaccine was against its intended target. At this point, we have to do our best to get the germ enthusiasts to consider the wonderful world of terrain. Unfortunately, it is a tough task because wherever there is trouble, they point at the microbes who are found at the scene of the crime.
They were innocent bystanders. Now, you just think about that term. Innocent bystanders.
There is no appreciation that these are innocent microbes who are simply doing exactly what they are designed to do. The microbes or their spores are going to be found everywhere, and attempts to eradicate them are as silly as Louis Pasteur's idea that healthy systems require sterilisation. As we pointed out in Virus Mania, attempts to raise animals in completely sterile conditions last century were universally fatal. Something else is impacting beehives to bring about a condition known as American foul brood. The condition involves larval breakdown and death, with the brood cell becoming discoloured and stringy. Yes, there may be increased numbers of bacteria in such cases, but they are the cleanup crew, breaking down the devitalised larval tissue in the cycle of life. What causes this devitalisation needs to be determined. Potential problems we have observed in beekeeping include overcrowding. Beehives do not usually cluster together in such concentrations in nature, but commercial pressures can lead to unrealistic expectations about hive numbers and convenience of honey collection. Overcrowding of any species triggers nature's various mechanisms to reduce further numbers. Another cause may be chemical toxicity through accidental environmental exposure to man-made compounds or intentional exposure.
Every time they poison something, they jump on it to give you a unicorn answer of a virus causing it, so they can poison you directly. Every goddamn time. They spray the fields. Contaminated bees probably enter with this thing. They probably get, because they've been sprayed, and fuck up a bunch of other bees. But that's their fault. And then what? No, it's a virus. God, tell them it's a virus. Tell them it's a virus. Come up with a name. Fall brood. Sounds great. Let's do it. Vaccinate the bees. Yeah, that's really fucked up. Let's do that. Hey, we already vaccinate their children. Can you believe that they let us do that? 79 times, dude. They're fucking retarded.
Pharmaceuticals that are used in beekeeping. Otherwise, there may be nutritional deficiencies
Yes.
in the hive through
And there could be things that are in the poisons that they spray that make them not eat and die. Hey, they only live 40 days anyway. Did you know that? One bee collects enough pollen to make less than a teaspoon of honey. But there's a lot of bees. They spray animal if they're not the same, they're synthesized. So animal venoms, they use scorpion synthesis on crops to get rid of insects, right? What do we know about the Gila monster? The Gila monster venom makes 3 different types of peptides that are the most popular. There could be more. I don't know if MK7, whatever fuck, is part of that too or not. But Tirzepatide, Ozempic, and Ratatouille. Retta is like a triple action piece of shit. Not yet FDA approved. Like that fucking matters. Poison is poison is poison. We're talking about Gila monster venom that paralyzes your stomach called gastroparesis. It paralyzes your vagus nerve. It makes food rot in your stomach to where you can't absorb the nutrients. Causes type 1 diabetes because of all the other things I just mentioned. And is literally like corrosive to your retina. Weakens it. It can detach from your eyeball. All beautiful things that everybody wants. And that, I'm sure, is part of the mineral deficiency or the nutrient deficiency causing that for your eye. And you lose shit tons of muscle, not just fat. Fat is prioritized by the body before muscle, but when you're in a state like that, because you just basically injected yourself with Gila monster venom, that's Ozempic, Tirzepatide, they are both from the same saliva. Just different peptides, so they say. So they tell you. And the Retatrutide is a triple action, right? Like I was saying. If there's something like that in any of these pesticides, these things might not be eating because, and that could be why they're dying. It could, like they said, malnutrition, right? It could be because of some sort of unintended but much appreciated reaction to something that they're currently spraying on your food, because or some other way. But it could be that they've also decided to stop eating because what's the point? And then they just die of I can't tell if they have Ozempic face. I can't tell if they look like Karen Osborne from here, but yeah, it's a potential.
Of local sources or setting up hives in areas that would deplete to begin with. The apparent spread of foul brood has nothing to do with a contagious entity, and certainly not through the blamed bacterium. There may be signals, such as biochemical compounds, that can have an...
Bacteria being present when you find something else is because that bacteria was likely created at source, at the zero, what do you call it? The episode, what do they call it? Oh my God. Ground zero, there we go. By the pleomorphic microzyma, because detection of a toxin, the signal of the toxin reaching the microzyma, aware of it, the intensity by, how much is in there, and then bacteria is being formed that will eat it. Bacteria present does not mean cause. Bacteria eats toxins. Period. That's what they do.
Impact on a whole hive, but if clusters of hives
they eat all
are
kinds of
affected,
things, but
this is due to common local factors. A hive in good health does not suddenly succumb to ubiquitous microbes. As I mentioned at the start, We have
Right. And why? Because they're fucking healthy. Because they have all the shit that they need, and their vital force is kicking it. They're freaking right because they have all the nutrients that they need. It's at the fucking core of every other thing that people get, and then you're like, oh, it's because of this. Because they don't want you to know this is another cover up for, hey, if they know that they won't get sick, and the reason why that they are is for the same reason, because we took away all the shit in their food that makes them healthy, so that they're a lot easier, they're a lot more fragile, they're a lot more volatile. Well, we can't let that happen, so let's keep on pointing at other things that we can kill them with while they're in this weakened state. Oh, there's that thing here, take the shot. Don't let them know. This is another reason why they say you can't excuse me. You can't treat a disease, which is a spell, because there is no diseases. There's you going through symptoms. Okay, there's no disease. Disease is like, oh, it's out there, and then it comes. No, that's not a fucking thing. There's, oh my fucking god. Okay, never mind. There are no diseases. Okay, there are experiences that your body's going through. They gave it a name. They gave it a spell. They cast a spell on it, and then they're saying you have to have this. But imagine. And they said that you can't treat a disease with anything but a drug. This is actually like law. That's why when you have supplements out in the store and stuff like that, or even homeopathy, is like, it's very generic. They can't use the word cure. They can't say what it's actually for. They'll just say something support, something, metabolism support. Something generic with no real explanation as to what the hell it's for, because they can't make any claims, because then it's against the law. So they keep you unaware of what they've taken out of your food and what would actually solve the problem, but they'll make up other excuses and other reasons for why you're sick. And yeah, toxins are usually, or poisons, same thing, basically the same thing, or some sort of environmental radiation or some other thing like that causing it. But in reality, what starts it is your lack of the nutrients that you need. So you have to be there first. You have to have your shields down. Your shields have to be weakened. You're in your big blue bubble here. And just like if you look at, if you believe in the ball model of the Earth, there's basically like an energetic toroidal field around it, right? And they say that the Earth's magnetic field is shifting, well, or has weak points. Well, think about that with you, except with your nutrients being the thing that keeps those things strong. And when you don't have certain ones, you have weak points, and that's where you can be. You have weak. What's the other word I'm trying to think of here? That doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, you can have an influence from the outside that may trigger a response inside of you because you're already weakened, especially like some other type of signal, bacteria. Even if it's a bad bacteria, quote unquote, gets to you, it's not going to get anywhere like, oh, I found a spot in his body. No, but it could send a signal to the rest of your body to continue to produce that thing. And that's where the pleomorphic microenzyme would come in. Now, having those things and no toxins means it might start eating your good tissue. And that could be a bad thing, right? And it would just need to be corrected. But you have to start everywhere it starts. It starts with anytime you get these symptoms, it starts with, hey, you didn't have enough nutrients, obviously. Or enough nutrients, maybe you need a little extra to resist the stress of this thing, because that's such a severe stress on your body. But when you're in a really weakened state, any little thing could sway you into getting ill. But everything's controlled from within, as far as that's concerned. So that's if everybody knew that, then they wouldn't listen to all these. Oh, you have a this and you have a that. It's like, yeah, that's cool. Just give me the nutrients that I need, and I'll be good. Now, here's a drug. Here's a vaccine. It's like you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't even consider it anymore because you can't drug your way to health. You can't vaccinate your way to health, and all the reasonings behind them are lies. You feel ill, they'll draw you a picture, a beautiful, elaborate picture of why you're sick, and tell you that they know the answer. It's just like pushing the cart in the old TV shows, or the old Western depicted scenes where there's the guy running through town, his little scam artist. He's a little, he's got his magic potions for you, except these people are homicidal. And they're gonna sales pitch the whole world on national television about this great big virus. But we got the potion, and it's injectable. Meanwhile, did they ever say anything about? Yeah, they don't even tell you to take vitamin C if you have scurvy. That's how bad it is. Unless they use a pharmaceutical grade vitamin C, which is actually not natural, and it has its own bad effects. Like taking all the copper out of your body and making you fatigued. And reducing the elastin in your body, which is kind of important if you don't want your arteries to burst when they're expanding and contracting with the muscles around them. Yeah. But just think about it. You wouldn't have to think about all this other shit, oh my God, the whole world's out to get me. There's little bugs and little friggin' unicorns trying to bite me all the time. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Hide under the mask, hide under the mask, hide under the mask, hide under the bed, hide under the bed, under the mask. Or you could just take the nutrients that you need. And for most stresses in life, provided you're not also eating a shit diet full of poisons or full of inflammatory things like polyunsaturated fatty acids, a bunch of deep fried stuff with like something other than tallow, something other than lard, then, and I don't mean like Cisco, that's not real lard, that's vegetable oil, which is really bad. Crisco, I said Cisco. Forgive me. Then, if you're not eating a bunch of junk, that's horrible for you. If you're not eating grains, because you're not livestock. Even though they call us, they basically think we're talking livestock, even though it's funny because we're the superior of them. The talking livestock here do not and should not eat grains. Our bodies are not made for it. Our stomachs are not made for it, and it's more of a sustenance thing in a time of necessity. Like, if there's no other food, then you start, munching on the bullshit granola and grains and all that crap. But when there's other food available, I would stay away from it. And I think that's how it was supposed to always be. It wasn't supposed to be made the staple of anything. Again, the food pyramids came from the same place. We saw the Kellogg thing. Everything's bullshit. Everything's bullshit and everything's Rockefeller, Rothschild. Everything. Every goddamn thing. And we're going right back to Kellogg again with the whole vegetarian shit. Everything that's bad for you, they promote. Anything that's good for you, they either don't talk about it at all, they'll run you out of business or shoot you, or put you in jail for discussing or providing somebody. Deny. They launched basically a war against raw milk. Now they're launching a war against farming, which they've always had, but full scale. You can't hunt, you can't fish. What the fuck? And they hate nutrients, and they will never, ever, ever acknowledge that you would actually. God, how is that so? Like, no, you need calories from your food in order to sustain life. So you just need calories, water, and air. Really? You don't think that maybe there are certain things in your food that would be better than others if you consumed it? Or maybe necessities that were always in there before the middleman who's got the potions in his hand rolled into town and started fucking up that symbiotic relationship between you and nature and basically robbed you of all those nutrients that made you strong because he was getting pissed off. He was getting pissed off they were so resilient to his fucking poisons and his deceptions. He couldn't convince you because you were too smart. He couldn't poison you because you were too healthy. So he had to work on that. What the fuck are we living in? Let's not do that anymore, huh? And I have about not enough minutes. Fuck. I'm going to try to get back in time. I'll be right back.
Beekeeping experience, and it would be great to hear from experienced beekeepers who may have further insights into the real causes of this problem, or if it is really a problem and it is wiser to let nature take its course for a better long-term outcome. Lastly, in his book, The Invisible Rainbow, Arthur Furstenberg puts forward the hypothesis that man-made electromagnetic fields can cause bee colony collapse. We would also concur with his observation that the international beekeeping community is extremely resistant to giving up its long-standing belief in the infectious nature of bee losses, and so, in the absence of evidence, most beekeepers are falling back on the only thing they know: more toxic pesticides to kill mites. As many of you know, I like to finish on a high note, and in this case it's easy because I can talk about honey. Honey has been prized in most places on Earth for thousands of years and can be used in many foods and beverages. Like most good foods, it does not have an ingredients list, and despite the hard work involved in beekeeping, the bees do all the real production. Honey is more than just an alternative to sugar, because along with fructose and dextrose, it also contains proteins, including enzymes, gums, and other trace nutrients. Along with the nutritional benefits, it also has a unique taste that most of us enjoy. It is so good that unfortunately in the current era, honey is one of the most faked food products to be sold, meaning that you need to know your supplier. In a favourable scenario, this will be from your own hive or a friendly beekeeper not too far away. It is even better if they are not using pharmaceuticals in their hives and the local area is herbicide free. We often get asked if honey is medicinal or can be used to treat diseases. For example, New Zealand's Manuka honey has become famous and is said to have antibacterial properties. This is largely on the basis of high methyl glyoxyl oxidase levels, and on this account, Manuka honey may be given a unique Manuka factor, or UMF grade. The higher the grade, the higher the antibacterial activity. As terrain proponents, this antibacterial activity has no particular value for our bodies per se, as we are not interested in killing microbes that way. Honey does not favour microbial growth anyway, due to its low moisture content. This is very useful for preservation of the product, in the same way that other sugars can be used to preserve fruit, or salt can be used to preserve meat and fish. The great benefit of honey is that the bees have already done the preserving for us. We just thank them and put it in a jar. So our advice is to enjoy honey for what it is, a delicious and nutritious food source that can be part of our regular diet. One of my favourite ways to enjoy honey is with a lemon drink, while Mark loves honey and butter on toast. He's also partial to a fermented brew in the form of a honey ale. Please feel free to share your best recipes and experiences.
And mead. Mead is good. Our people made mead.
With honey or beekeeping in the comment section.
Bing. All right. There's a couple more here I wanted to show you. This is not it. Yeah, that's what it says. That's exactly what it says. Canadian Senate passes law criminalizing hateful Bible verses. Now you ask yourself, how many other times in history did they rewrite? This goes to prove that that so-called sacred document has been stepped on more than a bag of cocaine. The Canadian Senate put its stamp of approval Thursday on a bill that criminalizes quoting Bible verses considered to be hate speech. Oh, gee, I wonder if that's addressing a certain group of people who are bloodletters who drain the bodies of children for ritual and sell the dried blood for their matzah. Could that be them? Could that be the ones? Could it be the synagogue of Satan? Which is every synagogue? Who owns the place? Your religion's just been outlawed, everybody. Bill C9 passed the Senate 45-13. Okay. Okay, look at those numbers. With 2 senators abstaining. Oh, well, so I do nothing. I do nothing, and it still favors the Jays. And 35 not even attending the vote. Well, that would have been enough to sway it back the other way. Maybe they had car trouble that day. Business as usual in an appointed body whose quorum is just 15 senators. This is a dark day for religious freedom and speech in Canada. Jeff Gunnarsson, national president of Campaign Life Coalition, said in a statement, the passage of this deeply troubling legislation, however, will not stop us from speaking the word of God, even when biblical truths are increasingly being labeled as hateful by those who are hostile to Christianity. So, like Jews. All right. The New American reported in March after the bill passed the House of Commons, introduced by Liberal Justice Minister Sean Fraser, the combating hate speech. Now, you see how you are already guilty? You're already on a list. The drones are already in the sky. Palantir's already got your number. Because nothing is off limits for these demons. Every word, pretty much. It's just like that 1984 thing, right? All words to express yourself will be outlawed. So there will be no ability to even comprehend things anymore because there will be no words left. The Combating Hate Act increases the maximum penalties for crimes motivated by hatred based on race, national or ethnic origin, language, color, religion, sex, age, blah, 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 mental or physical disability, right? Everything goes. Do not criticize, do not ridicule the crazy so that they stop being crazy. Let crazy run free in the landscape of hell, the hellscape, where reason is outlawed. Common sense, rational thinking is outlawed. For example, an offense whose maximum sentence is currently 2 years will have a maximum sentence of 5 years. If the government believes it was motivated by hatred, a sentence of 14 years may be increased to life under the same circumstances. Life imprisonment for saying something that offended somebody who has their fingers on the levers of government. Jews. This, of course, gives prosecutors and judges considerable leeway to punish people whose opinions they dislike. Yeah, and gee, in an environment like that, what do you think is going to happen if a rapist and murderer that was already let out because, got to be sensitive to these subhuman sub-Saharans, and you simply defend your life and it ends theirs. That's a hate crime. As if that weren't bad enough, the bill also removes a religious exemption to the existing law's prohibitions of communicating statements that promote or incite hatred against any identifiable group. Previously, an individual who could demonstrate that in good faith they expressed an opinion on a religious subject or an opinion based on a belief in a religious text would not be guilty of a hate crime. Now, quoting Bible or Torah or Quran verses that condemn homosexuality, transgenderism, or abortion could land someone behind bars. Notice they didn't say the Talmud. Because every Jew would be in prison. Under the guise of combating hate, contended Gunnarsson, Bill C9 opens the door to the criminalization of peaceful, religious, and pro-life expression in Canada. Yeah, gotta kill those babies for the good old ball. Yeah, gotta have your ball room as well. This is not mere alarmism. During parliamentary debate, Liberal MPs, members of Parliament, not military police, explicitly stated that such was their objective. Oh, good. At least they're open about it. We're completely bought. In fact, we're not even bought. We're just part of the cult. The CLC noted that Liberal MP John Danko cited anti-abortion hate. Anti-abortion hate. Isn't that the same thing as like innocent life loving? And see how you can phrase those two things? One sounds heroic and sensible. The other sounds like you're the bad person. Anti-abortion hate. It should be just abortion hate because you're the one that's not liking the abortion, but they're not smart people either. As an example of the kind of expression the bill could be used to target, and high-ranking Liberal MP Mac Miller, no one could claim to have been allowed. Claim to have read aloud. Yeah, no one could claim to have read aloud biblical passages showing clear hatred towards homosexuals in good faith. They're straying away and trying not to mention that this is all for Jews in good faith, and thereby, because guess who's going to be the new headmasters in now no longer covertly but overtly, and thereby exempt from criminal prosecution for hate speech. Interpretive dance. The vague bill riddled with subjective terms such as detestation and vilification is open for a wide range of interpretations. Right, legalese. The better to intimidate political conservatives and religious believers into policing their own speech. Synagogue of very misunderstood people. That's what Jesus said. It is unlikely passages from religious texts read on their own will lead to criminal charges. The Crown would need to believe that the intention of reading the text was to incite hatred, promote hatred, or promote anti-Semitism. There it is! There it is. You can't even have Jesus himself warn you about these demonic pieces of shit parasites, and you just read, hey, you know what he said? I bet you couldn't read anything from the Jews and their lies. However, you probably can't even read, what was it, Voltaire? However, with the good faith defense now removed, certain passages from the religious text could now lead to charges depending on the context, including when they are read, so there's an instance in life where you could say, this is what this would apply, and then you give your opinion on it, or you explain it a little bit deeper than the passage itself, and you go to jail. Sorry, pastor. You're done. And then they turn them into al pastor, and you eat them in a taco. Where are they read, and what other words are used when they are read? Oh God, this is so. Of where this is the land of the free. I know it's Canada, but they're supposed to be semi-free as well. Consider, for example, the Bible passage Leviticus 20:13. It states, "If a man lies with a male, as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death." That's funny coming from a group of people who are a bunch of sodomites. Their blood is upon them. Reading this passage on its own, or writing it, would not likely lead to criminal charges despite removal of the defense. However, depending on context, including what else is said, it may now be possible that speaking this Bible passage would lead to criminal charges. This would depend on whether it is used in a way that can be characterized as extreme vilification and detestation. See how bad this passage is? This is a bad Bible. Bad Bible. Bad. Can you get a load of this Bible? And now if you do that, then it's okay. You're vilifying and detesting. Oh, you don't even want to be seen with this Bible. Then you're okay. Which may be evidenced by the hallmarks of hate. Eclectic Skeptics. Is that like a new band or something? Bill C9 has been the object of intense criticism by both right and left hands of the same person, religious and secular. Hundreds of religious groups called on the government to amend or abandon it. Amend it. What do you mean? Amend it. Yeah, let's take this thing that by its very, creation is a complete and total farce, and we'll just change the wording to make it better. That's like, this pile of shit didn't land quite in the form we wanted it to. Turn it into a shape of a heart. Just smear it around. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Way better now. Including Christian leaders of every denomination and Jewish, Muslim, and Mormon leaders. Yeah, the Jews want to make themselves look like they're the clean ones in this, even though this whole thing was proposed by them. The law was also opposed by the Black Legal Action Center, which is black again, BLAC. The Black Association de Juristes Progestistes du Quebec. The British Columbia Civil Liberties Association. Remember, civil liberties do not include white people, just so you know. The Canadian Civil Liberation Association, because if it did, it would be considered racist, right? It's always these things are built to defend these poor, innocent rapists and murderers from the big, bad, civil, productive white people who see things too plainly. That's our problem. This is why we have to be exterminated, because we have too much goodness in us, and we see things too clearly, and we demand logic, sensibility, and reason to be applied to the world that we live in, and fairness, and no uncertainty of, chaotic torment or danger of being preyed upon at any given moment. See, other people live like that all the time, and they just don't even think of it as being something that's wrong with how life goes. We're different. We have standards. That can't fly. The Chinese and Southeast Asian, a bunch of people. All right, we're not going to read all of that. Despite this, the liberals who control the government have... See, this is the new American doing this shit. The demonic parasites who control the liberals who control the government have proceeded with the bill. Although it is headed back to the Commons for consideration of an amendment added to the Senate, the government has already indicated it will pass. Bill C9, for all intents and purposes, is law. Believe it or not, Ripley, the bill could have been even worse. Oh, goody. So we got the better of the two outcomes. Aren't we excited? Phew, dodged the bullet there. I love it when people they lose a mile to gain an inch. You're like, success. Everything's turning around now. We lost all of these rights, and they gave us something that looks like a part of a right back. We're winning. Yeah, you sound like Charlie Sheen when he talks about winning. A Senate committee approved an amendment making it a hate crime to question still unproven allegations of widespread abuse, including the cover-up of children's deaths in Canada's now-defunct residential school system for Indigenous people, which, by the way, a particular old ass bag that I used to hang out with on Sundays still says that wasn't a thing. Yeah, the records even say that was a thing, and over 50% of them died because his hate, his disgust for natives themselves is what he's giving. I don't know, a clean bill of health or whatever to the churches for. It's like, no, everything's bad about that. Everything's bad. Children are children. I don't give a fuck what they are. You take on their culture, which is probably not really much of a culture, and running around in loincloths and throwing spears at people, whatever. But setting them up for death, decay, disease, torture, and murder. And the church is, there was evangelicals, there was like a Jesuit presence, like all these things. It was an extermination, genocidal system ran by the churches as its cover face, so that nobody would question it. It's the church, and that's what they're doing. They were going on gunships, gunboats, and taking the children from tribes, and then they would go put them in these schools to like re-education centers where they would just be killing them. And that's just what happened. That is the reality of the situation. Fortunately, the Senate as a whole rejected the amendment. No government has the right. There's a book called Murder by Decree. Not Murder by Injection. That's another great book. Murder by Decree. I had the author on before. He was an ex-priest. And when he was when he was standing for the, the truth of history in that matter, the church and all of its little demonic minions, which are shared with the other demons that we talk about all the time here, the Oives, they paid his wife to divorce him, assured that she would win in court and win custody of their children, and that they would destroy his life. The author of that book. And she went with it because she's a cunt. Anyway, fortunately, the Senate as a whole rejected the amendment. No government has the right to silence Canadians for peacefully expressing their God-given moral or religious convictions, declared Gunnarsson. God will not be mocked. We will continue to proclaim his word. Yes, but even if you're going off the words that are there, you're probably mocking him anyway because of the way they've spun the tale. They control your minds through this process of presenting your religion and saying it's God's word. Well, the Old Testament sure as hell wasn't. That was created in the Hellenistic period by a bunch of demonic, child-killing pieces of shit in what we would then call the Saturn cult. And the New Testament has criticisms against them, yeah, sure. But what happened to the main character? And on all the days of his life that we, that we enshrine, we find his worst day, where they've put him through a ritual abuse that I'm pretty sure lines up with a pre-existing Jewish ritual of bloodletting and murder with the crucifixion. And they say, oh, they killed him like Jesus. I'm like, I think they killed Jesus like they killed people in their rituals. More likely. Because the same thing happened with Prometheus, same wounds, all that stuff. So anyhow, you're kind of mocking him anyway, because you're either entwining Jew with Jesus, putting too much emphasis on he's going to return and fix everything, which if that was the case, I would hate life and existence and God for making that a thing where a bunch of spoiled brats who don't know their purpose, who don't do anything to solve their own problems, get rescued at the 0 hour and learn nothing in the process by an adversary that would have been simple to fucking destroy if we all just worked together and learned how to be God's soldiers and God's children here. But, who am I? Trump denies that he promised no more wars. Says Iran won't be a quagmire. Or President Donald Trump now denies that he repeatedly promised during, I guess there's no recordings of this, huh? During his 2 presidential campaigns. Maybe that Trump that we see now with the little Dybbuk of Rabbi Schneerson dancing around in his underpants, maybe that's the one is saying that he didn't say it because he's demonically possessed now. He now denies that he repeatedly promised during his 2 presidential campaigns that he would not involve the United States in pointless foreign wars. During an interview with Meet the Press hostess Kristen Welker, Trump claimed that he did not guarantee no war. He's also said lots of things that he said he never did, and then there's they put him side by side an awful lot, because he's I'm sorry, because he's different, because he's not a politician. He's a regular guy. Yeah, those regular billionaire guys that get bailed out directly by Rothschilds. And you don't think he has any obligation to them? Who's fucked over everybody he's ever worked with, I'm sorry. And how's that Trump phone? How's that Trump Bible going? Oh man, we're so fucked. Yeah. Instead, he said he meant that he would not fight endless wars. Oh. Context. Two also discussed the economy and the price of gasoline, but after far-left Welker and Trump squabbled about crooked elections, Trump ended the interview. He said, "That's it, I'm out of here." Trump lied to Meet the Press and said he did not promise no more wars on the campaign trail. Here is the proof he did.
So, when you say I promised, I didn't promise anything. I don't like these endless wars. This is not an endless war.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
No more wars. No more disruptions. We will have prosperity.
You know who else said that? Every wartime president. Yeah. True story. Every wartime president from World War I on up, at least. So you have Woodrow Wilson. You've got, I believe, even FDR. They always run on that, and then you're into their second term or whatever, they do just that.
And we will have peace. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions.
But that time he spoke about a Trump in third person, so maybe he was referring to somebody who's not the president. And he was saying, when that guy becomes president, who also shares my name, not to be confused, then that guy won't allow any more wars.
We will have prosperity and peace for all. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
I am peace. Sounds like the Judge Dredd. I am the law. NBC. Pentagon Intel Agency says Israeli espionage threat to U.S. now critical. Yeah, given the fact that they've gotten the door kicked open for them by Trump. Israel is a major national security threat to the United States. Well, it's the 51st state, so there's no difference between the two. Never has been. A recent report, as far as their leadership, and I don't mean that, the leadership that actually leads our leadership that you don't always see or ever see, but can assume. A recent report from the Defense Intelligence Agency says, disclosed by NBC News, the agency has raised its espionage threat level from Israel to critical. The Israelis are spying on U.S. diplomats who are negotiating with Iran to end the senseless war, and the United States began at Israel's behest. The Israelis are also spying on other top officials, including those of the Defense Department. They're spying on everybody. They're watching this right now. They're looking at you through your phone. Stop whacking it. They'll use that against you. Israel's latest, but everybody will have probably video, so then it'd be like, yeah, I mean, what did you get? What are you in for? Jenna Jameson? Man, you're an old one, huh? Oh, shit. Israel's latest treachery is nothing new. A few years ago, Israeli spies were caught attempting to plant listening devices at Defense Intelligence Agency headquarters, air tags, and famously, American trader Jonathan Pollard spied for Israel in the mid-1980s, turning over secrets to Israel that likely went to the Soviet Union. And then he wrote that fucking book, didn't he? Isn't that the same guy? Let me find out. I think it is. Ah. No, maybe it's not. No, it's not the same guy. But the guy's a piece of shit anyway. Yeah. The fact that he's still alive and smug and a smelly fucking Jew. The world has no justice. Of late, Israel's espionage campaign has become unhinged. An official told the New York Times, well, good. Because, I mean, it doesn't matter what they do. They could dance up and down with a pitchfork on your grandma. And nobody would be like, that's offensive. Nobody would do it. The revelations about Israel's spying follows a U.S. House Committee's passing a measure conceived by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who shouldn't even be anywhere near our soil, but he has places in Miami. Cool. Burn them to the ground. And he has no place to go. And he'll cry his little demonic tears and he'll light fires as they fall. To integrate the U.S. and Israeli militaries, which will then set more forests on fire and then Jews will... Yeah, maybe that's not a good idea. Trump's defense about blah, blah, blah. Who cares? All right, there's all that. We know they suck. We get it. We don't need to read all that crap. They're demons. We get it. Paradise is Free says, in regards to matzah, is why I do not ever eat sausages or minced meat anymore. Even the coloring they put on all meats are highly suspect. Yeah. This is one of the reasons it may be wise not to eat meat. Well, it depends on where you're getting it. I'm not gonna not do something that they don't want me to do. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna stop doing something that I barely ever eat red meat anyway. But I'm not gonna avoid it thinking, oh my God, what's gonna happen to me? No. There's butcher shops around here. I don't need to go get it from Walmart, you know? If I absolutely want something, I'll go to a place that wraps it in brown paper and ties a string on it like they used to. All right. Oh, you're in Australia too, bud? Nice. Oh, Karen says, ew, I bought some jalapeno peppers today, cut one open, and big surprise, molded on the inside. Threw it out. So, was it at the top by the stem underneath it? Was it the black seed rot that you see down inside of it? That's why I said I cut them in half down the center, every single pepper. I don't care what kind it is, and I cut off the tops. And I inspect before I ever use. And that's not something that major hot sauce productions do. So you're getting that shit mixed in with regular good peppers because they simply can't be bothered because they have such a high volume, which means they have to high heat kill that stuff. Wouldn't you rather not have that know that shit was never in your fucking hot sauce to begin with? Well, then buy mine. MEM10 for 10% off until the 10th. We got Harry Ball says, say no to Zog. No. Dan Simmons. Christopher Lee. Way to hump the exit. Manuka in the medicine cabinet. It does for wounds what fungi do to accentuate energy bonds within the body. And developing osteogenesis imperfecta upon the native Indians. The Jesuits' system later shared to pesky German Americans. Yep. That's a number 39. Wow. What the fuck are you guys doing here? All right, I think we're going to close it up. Let's see. Get rid of that. I'll do this later. I did a lot of reading tonight. I was in the middle of this one yesterday. This, again, thing keeps dropping on me. So that's what that's all about. Oh, let's check it over here. RFB Revelation 3:9. And let's go over here real quick. Do a refresh of this Mamba Jamba. Revelation 3:9. Cool. Oh, let's see. Oh, I see you read. $9. Depends on how big the burrito is to know the value. Yeah. I mean, it was decent size. It was really good. You know, I used to go to a place called La Posta. It was more like a phone booth. Like, not a phone booth, like a 1 hour photo box. And that place is up on Washington Street, I think, in San Diego. I don't remember exactly what it was. I could find it again if I was in downtown. I'd be able to find it again. But I used to get like a carne asada burrito there every once in a while, and those things were back then probably a little bit less than 10 years ago. They were like that. They were just massive. I don't remember what I paid for it, but they were different times. Everybody had disposable income without having to try too hard. And if they want to propose something like that, then everyone should. yeah, that part. That's right. Yeah. Quote of the day. Okay, so I do have this business that I put a lot of time and effort into, and you know, is awesome, and the products are freaking amazing. So I highly recommend going to there and using this code for the next 3 days, and then going there afterwards and using the other code that's right there. Food Stars, 6% off for all sauces and creatine. You can get 10% off until the June 10th. The June 10th, I just said, yes. Okay. So these are the sauces. The creatine works on that too. Speaking of honey, this is amazing. And it is good on steak. Original recipe, better believe it, when pigs fly. Whippersnapper with honey, me 40 years old and my grandparents. Rebecca's on that one, Grateful Fed. Awesome avocado. Calamati. Zeus juice, lots of garlic and cayenne. Zeus juice, lots extra hot, lots of garlic, cayenne, and habanero. Sergeant Pepper with calabrese peppers from Italy. Sting with capers. Humzinger, garbanzo beans, and cumin tastes like a spicy hummus. Nemesis is mango habanero. Truffle Shuffle is Ghirardelli chocolate. And yes, I named it after the Goonies. Truffle Shuffle. Awesome Padang, Thai peanut sauce. Green Genie. I was drawing that character when I was still in like high school. I was like a genie dude. I put 33 on it just to fuck with people. Feast of Friends. That is cayenne, serrano, habanero, Thai chili pepper. That's right. Same with this one, except this one has blood orange juice and blood orange juice and key lime. And this one has pomegranate juice and key lime. The reason why there's two different ones that are so similar is that when I first started making these, I was making them and getting all of the farmers market produce in San Diego from this particular farm. And sometimes this would be in season, sometimes that would be in season. So depending on what time of the year it was, you would either have Feast of Friends available or you'd have Saucers or Apprentice available. Tie-dye, Thai chili peppers, cayenne, and a touch of curry. Smoked boss or chipotle, smoked paprika. Ancient Orangeman is Ancient Orangeman. I can't believe I just like that label. I was born in Syracuse. Cosmic Candy with my daughter on it. Venom is awesome. Elijah when he was a lot younger. Give him the boot. Lava. There's a keto sauce. Carrot conundrum is really hard to make and really hard to keep shelf stable, so I stopped. Kruger's Gold. This is Piri Piri. Slice of Life. It's supposed to look like Dexter was slicing the, whatever. It's blood spatter. Slice of Life is also the name of Dexter's boat. That's why it's called that. Straight Up G. Dog. I gotta get more peppers for that. Haunted Heat. Smoked Ghost Pepper. Toba Super Volcano. And this one. These are both Carolina Reaper. This one has double the amount of Carolina Reaper in it. And then this is a straight Reaper sauce called Reaper's Delight. Instead of hip hop. The hip. Yeah, there you go. Brand X. Blood Orange Juice and Bruga. Blueberry Supernova. Ghost Pepper Cayenne. and a 9 million Scoville heat unit extract with a blueberry and pomegranate juice. And then this is without the blueberry and pomegranate juice. So it's all fresh pepper with just a touch of a very highly concentrated extract. So you're not getting a bunch of oil for the sake of making it spicy, so it doesn't have that weird taste that a lot of extract sauces do. So higher quantity, higher concentration extract, much more expensive at higher concentration extract than just the 1 million. And that way you don't have to use as much of it, so you don't get that oil resin taste to it as much. There's a 6-pack there. There's a 3-pack here. I gotta probably update that label or that picture, and probably that one too. There's a. I think we used to have one called Vendetta, and it's a Rebecca with my what do you call it, fedora hat on. Oh, the whippersnapper used to be called Whip It. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that picture right there? It's like the hat that was another one of those things where I was walking a fine line for getting, like, you know, papers sent to me saying that I was served. Apparently Devo's a little Sue happy. I learned they sued McDonald's for having like a Happy Meal toy that looked like their hat, and I was like, isn't that just an upside down like pot, like a plant potter? And they're like, no, I guess they made that. All right, there you go. MEM10. My daughter's home, so fuck all you people. I'm just kidding. Do stuff. Have fun. Leave Big Farm behind. Dr. Glidden's membership, 25% off. And then you want your 90 essential nutrients. You can get them right from my website too. Just click that again. And then go here. Code BB5 for 5% off for life. But it's also sending you to a site that's already 10% off their main site. So you're getting a total of 15% off. Use the goddamn code. 5% off. BB5, 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 BB5. You can use it on anything on this site. Anything that your little fingers can pull up, right? What's that? Curricula? What the hell is that? Never heard of that before. Radiant. The fuck? Yeah, anyway, it's all there. But if you want the 90, and you do, because you like to live, and you like to be awesome, right? So, Whole Food Multivitamin, right here. I'm giving you the rundown of the 4. Whole Food Multivitamin, Alaskan cod liver oil. That's 2. Now you scroll till you get to the Fulvic-Humic blend. This is all of your minerals. This is the most important fucking part. This will last you 3 months and 10 days. At the very least, if you're doing an eighth of a teaspoon. Because an eighth of a teaspoon is like the top end of the serving size. Get that. Get that. Do it. Do it. Do it. You won't. You will. BB5. And the last thing is I'm going to go slow. IP6 Supreme with inositol. Do you see? All right. And then you should totally throw it in the copper, because I do. Throw in the copper. Get yourself some energy and some elasticity to your skins. So you're not all droopy like a bloodhound. And you get jowls hanging down to your ass. Don't do that. Get this instead. That way you don't get hernias and shit. Who's laughing at me? Let's see. Whoopsha! Thank you, Christopher Lee Statler. Good show, Dan. Pleasure spending the evening with you. It's a little suggestive, Christopher. People might start talking. Anyway. And let's see. Last thing that you probably want here is this guy. Look at how cheap that is for 100 servings. Was I drunk? And then you can get 10% off. So that's like another $3.59 off of that price. For 100 servings, you can't beat it. This is the hydrochloride. You only need like a gram. Follow me? All right. Well, if you're not following me, you should do it over on Rumble and FTJ. And I guess Kick. That's a thing now. I want to get to 100 now that I'm at 81. Holy shit. and I want to get to 10 million on here. Okay, so right now we're at about 5,190. So we're almost there. Every vote counts. Okay. Bye. Oh, Cosmic Candy is a bomb, said Karen. Best hot sauces on the planet, said Karen. I'll search the videos of them bragging about this weird stuff and send them to you if you want to cover the show. Yeah, okay. And as a salad dressing, same with Kruger's Gold. Candy, Cosmic Candy. Oh, yeah, you know what's really good, too? Is the Serrano Honey and Lime, the Green Genie one. That one is good as a salad dressing. I make massively awesome salads. I chop some meat in it. Gotta have that. You know that the shaved Parmesan that you get at, like, I don't know, Sam's Club or something? It's not the shreds. It's not the little sticks. It's the shaved. Throw that into a salad. It's good stuff. I like a lot of cheese. Cheese is good. And blue cheese on top, too. Blue cheese crumble. This sauce. Killing it. This guy right here. Where was I? I was just thinking about food. Was I going to do something else? There's something straight in my brain. Doesn't matter. If you're not already a Dr. Glidden member, you should be. And if you're not already following, you should be. If you're not sharing these videos around or becoming a member of our Patreon, you should be. Patreon. That's how we rolled. See? I did cool things. I didn't really like that thumbnail. I wasn't a fan. That's cool. Okay. All right. See ya.